Coming to the 18th Seattle Angel Conference. We have been for the last 6 months because of the current situation with COVID. It's been entirely virtual. So we did all of our workshops virtually. We did all of our investor meetings virtually. And what that has done for us is brought a wider group of investors and a wider group of companies into our program. I would like to bring Eric up. Eric, would you raise your hand? Eric Watson, thank you. That makes it easier for me to give you speaker rights. Eric Watson is the LOC manager for this round. He's participated in SAC before and has had the lovely experience of being the herder of cats for creating the LOC for this round. So Eric, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the experience you had?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, John. So just me in a nutshell. So I've been with SAC now for about 18 months. Prior to SAC, I had some experience in the financial services arena, running other types of funds, secondary funds and volatility arbitrage funds. So this has been my first experience working with an angel fund. And it's been really wonderful. It's been an honor and privilege to work with this group. I've learned a tremendous amount from all our contributors, both founders as well as investors. And it's just been a whole lot of fun. And quite frankly, I like it a lot more than other types of funds that I've worked on. Prior to getting into financial services, I spent about 13 years at Microsoft. So my background, like many of us in the Seattle area, is in the software business. And I'm delighted to have Kate as my assistant fund manager. And Kate, I'll let her speak to her experience, but she'll be your fund manager for SAC 19, which will be starting here in the spring. So with that, I'll hand it over to Kate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Eric. And thank you so much to you and John and Bob for, all of your support and working through all the behind the scenes activities for SAC 18. It's been so much fun. And I've learned a lot as well. I would say that for SAC 19, I'm really excited about, continuing forward with making strides in, continuing representation across founders. We've been able to have quite a few founders coming in from different geographies, having great representation.
To take on a more active role as an active investor. And as a result, they're able to experience the process of doing LOC management, mostly the process of setting up the LOC and then herding all of the investors to do the investor thing and then talking to all of the companies about the company thing. And it looks like it said unable to subscribe stream for Kate. Kate, can you speak?
Yes, I think I might have been speaking over you, John.
Doesn't look like we're doing very well with Remo and Kate again.
John's going to have to be here.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to. Yeah, so.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Let's just say that.
I can hear Kate.
Kate. Oh, I cannot hit Kate. So, Kate, I will shut up and you talk.
I can hear Kate just fine. I just want to let you know that, John.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kate. Finish your thought.
Okay. So basically with SAC 18, it's been really awesome to have, great representation across geographies, gender, background, industries. And so for SAC 19, we're going to be continuing pushing those efforts. It's been really exciting to see, particularly with everything going virtual, having folks from all across the country really being able to be involved, as well as supporting startups in the Pacific Northwest. It's been really exciting to be a part of. My background, I'm an entrepreneur as well as an investor, and I've been involved with SAC. This is my third conference now, and I've been involved with leading due diligence. I have, I've been working with founders for quite a bit now, and it's just been really exciting to be a part of. So looking forward to seeing the outcome of tonight's conference, as well as moving forward to SAC 19.
Super. So with that, thanks so much, Kate. I guess next up comes Bob, and maybe John can hand the baton over, and we'll move on with our agenda.
Yep. Thanks so much, Eric. I
Yeah.
appreciate you covering this thing.
Yep. No.
So yes, we would like to bring Bob up to the table, and Bob is our MC for the event today. And Bob Crimmins runs the runs the Startup Haven, and Startup Haven is the a program that's been going on for a while here, and as a result, Bob has ended up being the MC for every one of our angel conferences. And so, Bob, I'm going to leave the stage and let you be the one that runs the show.
Well, thank you, John. It's great to be here. If we were in real life, I would ask everybody now to applaud loudly for John and all that he's done for the Seattle ecosystem, just growing so many angel investors and helping so many startup companies get better at their startups and to become better founders. And in fact, I learned recently that the number of companies that participated this time was 59. So we had 59 companies start. We're going to see the last 6 today, the finalists. But that's a tremendous achievement to have roughly 60 companies be exposed to all of these investors and learn what the diligence process looks like, and to get really hard questions and a lot of help on building their startup. So bravo to you, John, for all that you've done. This time there are 45 new investors, but that's now the 18th time that John has fledged somewhere between 25 or 30 and 45 or 50 every time for 18 events. So bravo to you, John. You've really moved the needle in Seattle. Now, it's true. I'm an old guy, as you can see from the beard. I don't think I had any gray in my beard when I first started helping John with SAC 1. And now 18 later, I've learned a few things about SAC. And in addition, just to the impact that it has, and I want to encourage entrepreneurs as well, because I know there's some startups in the audience that didn't make it to the finals. Pardon me. And there's startups who haven't gone through SAC yet, and they're wondering whether it's worth it or not. I have a little bit of experience with accelerators, having been a mentor for over a decade for a number of top-tier accelerators and launching my own accelerator. Even though we think about SAC as an investor program, it really is remarkably similar, especially in terms of value to the startups, similar to an accelerator. It's a different curriculum that you would get than from Techstars or YC or something like that. But it's really a tremendously valuable program. I encourage everybody to look deeply at whether or not it's a good fit. If you've been to SAC before, and if we were in real life, I'd say raise your hands if you've been to 2. Keep your hands up if you've been to 4. If you've been to 6, been to 8, been to 10. For all of the SACs I've ever been to, the thing that has impressed me the most, and when I think about all of you coming to watch pitches, there's a lot of value in watching those pitches. Obviously, it's exciting. You're going to learn about some companies. Maybe you find some companies you want to follow and invest in. But in addition, the people in the room are a huge part of the value of Seattle Angel Conference. So when and in real life, I would have told you all to go around and shake hands and meet people. You should meet some people today. There's some really tremendous people in the room. So my advice to you is, while you're here and we're in sort of a break or networking session, be sure just to bounce between tables. It's okay to spend a couple minutes, say hi, meet a few people, and go to the next table. Find a good conversation for yourself. Find some new people that you haven't met before. It's really the sort of hidden value of these events. So I strongly encourage you to do that. So for the logistics, sort of house cleaning stuff, so you'll see down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a table, a support desk. I think its name might have recently been changed to mental support or something like that. But there's a table down there that will have somebody in. If you're having any trouble connecting or hearing or getting your audio or video to work, pop down there and they'll help you. If you haven't already done so, you'll see in the top left corner, there's a video. And John had mentioned this before in chat, but so we're experimenting. We had a script very similar to the script we used last year, where I said, here's how Remo works, here's what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how to think about things. If you haven't watched that yet, find a minute to watch that. And that'll give you all that you ever wanted to know about how to use Remo. And I say that too, knowing that we're all pretty exhausted, burnt out really on video conferencing. So thank you guys all for your patience and showing up today. We're going to try to make this as engaging as possible. I'm going to try to keep things moving quickly. But suffice to say, you're here, you figured out how to get in here. If you need any help, there's the help desk and then that video. You'll see on the left, and I just want to say this even though it's in the videos, there's some buttons on the left, elevator buttons. There's 4 floors that you can visit, and you'll want to pop through some of those as well. The first floor, of course, is where the teams will be. Second floor is where you'll find the angel groups. And the third floor, and the fourth floor, I'm trying to remember now. The fourth floor, I believe, is go up there if you just want to have a conversation, grab a table. It's just open for networking. And the third floor, I believe, is some of our sponsors. So in any case, bounce around, just click the elevator buttons and you can check out the other floors. So we're going to start off with our keynote panel. And I'm really excited about this. This is a great panel. I know many of the people on this panel, and it's tremendous. And I'm really delighted to see Kirby Winfield leading this panel. So I'm going to have John bring up Kirby and his panelists. In the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about Kirby, who I've gotten to know just a little bit here recently. So Kirby is a true blue, born and raised in Seattle, last of a dying breed, as they would say. And look at that, Rainer, nice. But he's a very experienced operator, startup founder, investor. He's 2 IPOs, which GoToNet, which I remember from back in the day, and MarchX, and was a founder for 2 venture scale startups, ComScore, that were acquired, by ComScore and HomeAway/Expedia, respectively. He's got more than 50 career startup investments, and he's currently the GP at Ascend VC, which has quickly garnered a tremendous, I got to tell you this, Kirby, people talk about you behind your back. You've got friends in Seattle. You've done a really great job with Ascend VC, which for anybody who still doesn't know, is a pre-seed fund that's focused entirely on the Pacific Northwest, which we need. And so thank you very much for everything you do in the community, Kirby, and I'm delighted to have you here. And I'll let you introduce your panelists. Everybody, welcome, Kirby.
Thanks, Bob. Well, that's high praise coming from you, and I think you've done a lot more heavy lifting than I have with Startup Haven. So, so it means a lot, and I appreciate that way too kind introduction. And my favorite thing about moderating panels, I get to get out of the way and let the real smart people talk. So,
I'm going to do right now.
So what I think I'll do with my friends here on the panel is I'll call each of you out, ask you to introduce yourselves briefly, and then maybe share one positive thing that you've seen emerge in your investment, cadence or behavior, or things that you've seen professionally. One positive impact of this otherwise pretty rough 9-month period where we've been locked down and experiencing this remote environment. So I'll let you introduce yourself. Tell me one positive thing that we can take from this experience, and then I'll double back with questions for each of you, and off we go. So I guess I'll start with Will Finney from SeaChange. Or I guess I won't because he's not here. Sorry, I'm switching screens from my script to the screen. Well, that's I've got nowhere to go but up from there. We'll try again. Brianna McDonald from Keiretsu Forum.
Thank you, Kirby. Thanks for having me here today. I love SAC. I love supporting SAC. I love that SAC is out there creating investors and working and doing the hard work on these early stage companies. My name is Brianna McDonald. I'm the president for Keiretsu Forum Northwest. I have been investing in companies for 15 years. I wrote my first check at 26 years old for a little Seattle startup called Theo Chocolate. And I've been investing in companies since then. We facilitate funding in companies that are a little bit later stage, so really Series A, B, and C. We have done 54 million in over 80 companies the last 2 years, and we're looking to break records this year with the amount of funding that we've been able to provide for our companies coming through. There has actually been many positive silver linings from COVID, aside from the fact that I'm going crazy sitting in front of my screen for more than 10 or 12 hours a day and supporting 3 young children home learning at the same time. But probably the greatest silver lining is just the reduced barriers. Investors from all over, because we don't just work in the Seattle area, we are able to cross state lines easily. People are able to gain access through Zoom, through joining these video conferencing meetings. And so as much as I resist it because it's been happening so much these days, I do see this sticking with us once we come out of this on the other end. It's provide just so much accessibility for entrepreneurs and for investors alike. So that's been probably the greatest bonus.
That's awesome. I actually super agree with that. I feel like it's much more efficient, and so I find myself taking meetings that I might not otherwise take, which really opens up more opportunity for me to learn from people too. Cool. Well, thank you, Eric from E8. Kick it off.
Yeah, so hello, everyone. Good to see everyone virtually. I've been with E8 for, 14 years now, pretty much right from the start. I've been on the board for 10 years, and I just rolled off as the co-chair and president. I term limit out off of the board in 2021. So we've been around for about 14 years, focused exclusively on clean tech. We were originally Northwest Energy Angels, focusing on renewable energy in the Northwest, but we found ourselves investing more broadly than the Northwest and in more sectors than just renewable energy. So in 15, 14, whatever, we changed to element 8. Oxygen is the 8th element, and then subsequently shortened it to E8. We launched the fund. Then we've done about we're closing in on, believe it or not, $42 million of investments in that time in something north of 100 companies. And you asked about silver linings. It reminds me of the joke about, yes, but other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play? But I'll actually echo a lot of what Brianna said, because we were already trying to mix sort of real world and virtual for our meetings, for our due diligence. And this really put our foot to the accelerator on it. We've now got members in as far afield as Saudi Arabia, believe it or not. And we're closing. We had been stuck at about 60 members for many, many years. And as of this year, we're closing in on 100 members now. And I think a lot of it is that threshold for taking a meeting, for joining, for getting involved is lower. When you don't have to drive 20 minutes or half an hour to get someplace, you can do more. And so I think that a lot of that is going to stick with us even after the vaccines help us put COVID behind us.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. That's so if I'm just trying to keep track, that's about $100 million in capital deployed. Our first 2 panelists. Let's see where we get to. Sharad, why don't you tell us about yourself, and we'll get to grub stakes too. But what's your story?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on the panel. I'm really excited to be here. I've been investing for about 6 or 7 years, and I cut my teeth in Seattle Angel Conference. Participated as an investor in multiple rounds, also was assistant fund manager for one of the rounds. And then at some point, a few of us, me, Javier, and a few other people decided, hey, let's go build a member group called Grub Stakes, which I'll tell you a little bit about in this panel. And I've really enjoyed the Seattle angel investing scene. I've got 21 investments now under my belt, and I've met a lot of people who are just phenomenal founders and fellow investors. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about the Seattle ecosystem, is that we all know each other and are very friendly to each other, and we're all in it to grow the ecosystem. And a lot of that goes back to Seattle Angel. There's so many investors that I meet that have found their roots either at Seattle Angel or from John Seacrest. So big thanks to him and the entire ecosystem for that. Yeah, so like in terms of silver lining, I would say, you know, the thing that is happening is that the pace has just gone up tremendously. Both the pace of innovation in my day job. I work at Microsoft. I've been there for over 16 years now, and I was at Microsoft Research, and now I'm in a new business called Azure for Operators. And our pace of innovation has just gone up tremendously, because you're not wasting 10 minutes going from one meeting room to another or from one building to another. And the same with evaluating startups. People are not getting confused, like, hey, let's meet at WeWork Labs, and like, oh shoot, I ended up in a different WeWork building or on the wrong floor, right? You just hop on the call and you start doing your due diligence, and it's great.
Efficiency has been so good. It's been too good. I find that I'm really jealous of my time now, where it takes a lot to get me out of the house. Like, 'cause I'm like, I mean, I'd love to grab lunch, walk around outside, or do something, but is it worth an hour of not accomplishing anything? Which is a little bit like, then you start to wonder about the impact of that. But anyway, yeah, I agree. It's generally, I mean, it's a super positive silver lining. So Susan, if you couldn't tell, we're doing just brief intros of yourselves, and then a silver lining from the last 9 months, and otherwise, in an otherwise tough environment. So go for it. Tell us about Sea Change, and well, mostly yourself. We'll get to Sea Change.
I can be happy to do that. Hi, I'm Susan Preston. I'm the general manager for Sea Change Fund. I've been investing for 21 years, both as an angel and as a venture capitalist. I started the first all-women's angel investment group in the United States here in Seattle in 1999. And my focus has been on investing early stage ever since then. Spent a number of years with Kauffman Foundation, working on entrepreneurs, first with the Kauffman Venture Fellows program, and then focusing on women entrepreneurs, and then finally focusing on angel investing. I've written 2 books on angel investing, and then to move down to the Bay Area in 2006, late 2006, and raised the money I made investments in a clean energy fund that I had down there. And then I got to come back home a few years ago, about 7 years ago, and started up Sea Change. And a lot of that came out of the brain thinking from John Seacrest and others, of wanting to have a fund that was separate, and using a fund structure with full-time management, single checks written into it, but maintaining a high level of diligence throughout our process. So we form diligence teams, and we vote on investments, and then we write a single check. So our checks are anything from 150 to 800,000 into companies.
What is one thing that you think has been a positive for you in this last 9 months of sort of semi-lockdown?
I think that's actually a little bit of a challenging question. It certainly has allowed us to be more efficient with our time. We're not in cars driving all over the place so much. I suppose it's had an opportunity to really see things more, be engaged in more things, because we used to have all these downtimes and you had to sort of pick and choose what to get involved in. So I guess it's helped a little bit from that standpoint. I much prefer human interaction and contact myself. So that's a little bit challenging for me.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I feel this is actually just so nice to even just be virtually with a group of people like yourself. So I'm grateful for even this opportunity. So Minda, we'll let you finish up, and you're obviously, or with First Row, which you've cranked up and gotten rolling, and then recently added a title as venture partner with 2048. So excited to hear about what you're up to, and then and what you're happy about.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kirby. Yes. So earlier in 2020, in the before times, Yoko Kano and I co-founded First Row Partners. My entire career in startups back into the mid 90s is all about getting startups from 0 to 1. And for a really long time, that meant being part of them, leading them, co-founding them. And, getting to be on the investor side has been a really great transition. Now getting to invest in what I call the crazy early stage with high conviction on a vision and a team that has some sort of tension or pull, some call it traction, into the market that is really exciting. And so I thoroughly enjoy getting to do what I get to do every day. Throughout this year, I'll tell you my golden, like my silver lining plus the 2048 story is that in sort of really trying to figure out what the heck to do during the COVID crisis, my friend Alex Iskold of 2048 Ventures posted on Twitter something about like, can't we just give cash to people? Can't we just make this happen? And I was like, yes, we should. Like, let's do this. So he and I co-founded the 1K Project, which is now really blossomed into a major volunteer collective and effort where through mostly small donors, we've been able to raise about $3 million and help about 1,000 families with $3,000 in a bridge, a structural amount of money that can be an enabling amount that gets them help during the crisis. And we focused on people who lost income as a result of the crisis. And so these are working families. We've been sheltered by Andrew Yang's organization. We've had fabulous media attention that has helped us bring in more sponsors and partners. It's absolutely been a silver lining for me to be able to feel like I've been useful in a crisis, which is to be able to get, I'm lucky that I'm doing well. I have the health, my family has their health, and I've been able to be useful, hopefully to other people. And through that relationship building, the working relationship, Alex and I have, he's always been really interested in the Seattle and Northwest in terms of investments, and our values align, our perspectives align. We just have a really strong working relationship. And so we extended that into me being a venture partner here for 2048 to be able to lead rounds and discover companies that are here in the Pacific Northwest and really bring them forward for 2048. And sometimes that means First Row gets to co-invest as well, which is exciting. And so we're just about to close our second deal.
I knew there's a reason we finished with you, and your silver lining is truly like a golden lining. I shared the link to the 1K Project in the chat for anyone who's interested, and I encourage you to check it out. Cool. So just wanted to sort of remind the folks, everyone here, that the goal is really of this panel is really just to give everyone a better understanding of how the different some of the different angel groups in town work, and where they might be able to go after the conference to sort of get more engaged. And so that the questions that I'll have for each of you individually and then as a group will be sort of pursuant to that goal. And so I thought I'd start with Sharad. We've invested together in the past. One time, I did an investment with Grub Stakes when I was still full-time angel, and I think in that case I had actually done my own diligence and came into the syndicate, and I wanted to kind of open with asking, is that a typical way that angels work with Grub Stakes, or is it more of a membership organization with shared investment evaluation? How do members access opportunities, and how do you work with members?
Yeah, good question. I do remember that deal, Kirby. That was a deal that I was leading on the Grub Stake side. I'd met the founder at a local angel event here in Seattle, ran Tech DD, and led the syndicate. And in the later stages, my fellow investor David said that, hey, it'd be great to bring in Kirby, and I didn't know Kirby, and I'm like, oh, hey David, as long as you vouch for Kirby, sure, let's bring him in, right? So yeah, that's certainly like one way to get into an investment with Grubstakes, but not the only way, and probably not the most common way. So Grubstakes is a network of angels. We share everything. We share our deal flow with each other. We share our due diligence. We share the effort in leading a syndicate if we do decide to do one. But the key thing to understand is that we're not a fund, nor are we a competition or a conference. So we are each person is making their own decision about whether they want to invest or not. And if there's enough people wanting to invest, we can form a syndicate. And there are some advantages to forming a syndicate that I can talk about as well. But to be a member, there's some things that we ask. And the key things is that you have to be an active investor. You have to be actively writing and wanting to write checks and invest in the success of a founder. And you also have to be aligned in your interest. Your interest is to collaborate in making good investments and have no other motive. And very importantly, you also have to agree with our values. And our values include acting with integrity, treating everyone with respect, maintaining the confidentiality of not only the founder's private information, but also the opinions of the fellow investors about whether or not to invest in a company, and really help founders and the Seattle ecosystem. There's many more. I typically lead our values discussions at our meetings. But that's roughly how Grubstakes works. And there's a bunch of advantages that you get in being part of a syndicate that I think others in Seattle Angel Conference are probably realizing. You can get small checks into a syndicate that ends up in a single line item for the founder's cap table. The managing members herding all of the cats, so the founder doesn't have to do that. The syndicate might be large enough to get pro rata rights or observer rights that you as an individual check writer may not be able to. So there's lots of great advantages.
Awesome, thanks. That's super helpful. So and I've noticed that John is kindly placing links to the websites of the various groups in the chat here. So let's dig in. Those are available. So Susan, we're in an awesome investment together, and super excited about that one. And I'm actually a board observer, and I've gotten to see Jonathan, who is the board member from SeaChange in Action. Been really impressed. So you do have a unique approach, where you're in many cases placing your members who are angels onto boards of companies that SeaChange invests in. So maybe use that as a jumping off point to talk about how SeaChange is different and what kind of angels are good fits for SeaChange.
Of course. So yes, we do that. We actually look for the individual within, if we are leading it, setting the term sheet, because we will lead rounds. We do ask for a board seat if we can have identification of one of our investors that would be uniquely qualified and have attributes and experiences and knowledge that would be helpful and supportive for the company. So we do the placement with a very thoughtful process in mind of identifying somebody that we think has that skill set. Then we also, but all of us as management, spend a lot of time working and supporting our companies. Just as we just feel that's a responsibility we have as shareholders. If they do well, we do well. So if there are things that we can do to support them in their growth, whether it be connections, identifying potential individuals for new positions, helping them in the fundraising process, we feel that that's a responsibility that we have as an investor. So as I was saying before, our structure is unique from the standpoint that we are a cross between a venture fund and an angel organization. We manage as a venture fund. We do diligence. The intensity of our diligence is at a venture level. We typically are producing an investment memo for each company that a diligence team decides to take for recommendation for investment. But it is a small number of companies that actually make it to that. So we have at the top of the funnel, we probably see 300 to 350 companies. we typically are investing probably in 10, 11 companies per year. So it's a fairly stiff process to go through with us. But the memos are utilized to educate our members before they vote. So they're usually somewhere between 15 and 25 pages, and it's an analysis that is done. And then management really takes care of all the other pieces of the process. With my legal background, I'm able to easily do a lot of that aspect of the work. And then we'll take over the actual investment and process and the follow-on relationship. So we do a lot of education. We do a lot of training. There's a lot of on-the-site training of going through diligence. We have a screening committee. We have quarterly fireside chats to talk more deeply about the companies. We do a quarterly report on every one of our companies and give detailed information about them. Our annual report is quite hefty. It gives a breakdown of a one-page breakdown of each one of the companies of various information, investment, amount raised, all that kind of stuff. So we closely follow our companies. We also do training. So we do boot camp types of things. And then we have a speaker series. So we're trying to always educate our members, get them engaged, and as much as we can to help them and better understand how to be great investors, and also engaging at the level that they want to. We have lots of non-participating investors. They just like our model, but we're always there for anybody who wants to have that deeper opportunity.
Wow, thank you. That's a very,
Sure.
very robust, set platform that you've built. I'm scrambling to go back and expand my investment memos a little bit. I'm feeling investment memo envy.
Well, when you have 6 or 7 people working at it, it does help. Yeah,
no, that's great. That's why I love investing.
I love 15, 25 pages.
It
So-
is.
so-
Yeah.
So Eric, maybe since you're since that's got you all excited, I'll jump to you next. So you and E8 are the one sort of thematically driven group. I think out of the folks here today. So if at the risk of asking an obvious question, what does an angel need to believe to be a fit for E8? And, who do you see being successful and happy as members of your crew?
Well, we are individual investors predominantly, but I think sort of the common theme is the belief that markets and sustainability are in concert, not in conflict, or at least ought to be. There is sort of a canard out there that making money and being sustainable are somehow inherently in conflict, and we basically call BS on that, and are looking for companies that can help demonstrate that. So within that, of course, we're all individual investors. So you ask them, you'll get 100 investors, you'll get 100 answers. Some people are very passionate about water. Some people are very passionate about sustainable agriculture, or building energy efficiency, or whatever, and that's fine. And so we love any investor like that, but who thinks that they can use their money to make money and help clean up the planet at the same time. It's interesting because you will even see some divergence in beliefs about things like concessionary returns on that. So there's the question of, are you willing to take a lower return on your investment because of some social or environmental good? And there are some people in the group who are willing to give that discount. I'm not one of them. I actually think it's super important. My personal belief is that if you allow a concessionary return, you're implicitly saying that, yeah, sustainability does cost. Yeah, it is. You can't make the same kind of money. And in fact, I think I personally think it's worse than that, because If you can't be as profitable being sustainable, then over the long run, you're going to lose. And if you lose and go out of business, then your net impact is going to be zero. So, you know, that's my personal opinion on that. I can't speak for the group on that. But we've also been doing a lot of work to try to sort of get back to your question about what makes someone good for our group. We have been doing a lot of work to try to make it easier for people to come in and invest their dollars. So we've been predominantly in the traditional angel investment group model. You're an accredited investor. You're writing $25,000 checks, so you better write 10 or 20 of them to get the diversification you need. And ooh, that's a lot of money. And so, a few years ago, we launched our first fund, and Susan is one of the managers for that. Thank you, Susan. And we're actually looking to launch a second fund, and so now you can get a decent amount of diversification for less aggregate money. We've been doing a lot more now with crowdfunding on things like Angel List and Assure and Propel X, where we create basically ad hoc SPVs or syndicates, and somebody goes out and leads it and does the due diligence. There's that 5 to 10 page diligence report, and you're like, yeah, I trust what that guy is doing or what they say in that report, and because it's a syndicate, I don't have to put $25,000, which I don't care who you are, that's a lot of money. I can put $2,000 or $5,000, still a lot of money, but not quite the same kind of risk. So you can dip your toes in that way, and that's really important for busy people who are like, I can't put the time in to do a full due diligence on that. And then just this year, we launched our new D8, Decarbonate fund, which it's doing for-profit investing, but it's using philanthropic money to do that. So now, the irony is that the IRS says you have to be a wealthy person to have a very high risk of losing your money, but anyone can have a 100% risk of losing their money. So the idea is you make a charitable gift into this as low as $25, and that goes into a pile of money. That pile of money gets invested. Hopefully it comes back larger than it went out, and then it can be cycled again and again and again. And this lets people who are not accredited investors still participate in this thesis that we can make money and save the planet at the same time. I hope that didn't go too far afield from your question.
No, that's awesome. That was more than I was even hoping for or expecting. So that's great. And I think it gives people a lot to chew on. Oh, good. Brianna's back. I was worried. I was very worried that you wouldn't get a chance to say a piece. But so Keiretsu deploys the largest check size, I think, of anyone on this panel. I could be wrong.
Well, collectively we do. I mean, so collectively in the Pacific Northwest, we've deployed 54 million the last 2 years running, with over an 80% funding rate in our companies. But we are an individual investor network, just like E8.
Okay.
Okay. We do have a separate fund, but what I manage is our investor network group.
Got it. And so to that end, does that, that's a lot of dough. Does that mean that your members are also making bigger commitments? And does that sort of define maybe the fit for members? What's the profile and who ought to be on your door?
Well, so just like Grub Stakes and just like E8, we have a value base, that we look to for our investor members, of course, the accreditation piece of it, but also just that they're, a valued, respected member in the community, good integrity, they're putting forth good effort with the companies. Many of our investor members are serial entrepreneurs that have built and sold companies many times. And so they really bring that knowledge and expertise to the table to really help vet and to help and support these investments as they continue to grow. And so that's really important to us. I run the Pacific Northwest region of Keiretsu Forum. We are a part of a larger global network, which is a really important thing to keep in mind. We have over 3,000 members in 55 chapters globally. And with that, in North America in particular, we've been #1 in our funding the last 4 years running. That said, we do look at later stage companies. And so we are looking at Series A, B, and C companies for funding. We also leverage the ecosystem. I think one thing that SAC does really well and that this panel also illustrates is that there's an ecosystem and there's different funders at different stages. And it's really important for entrepreneurs as they go and seek their capital to understand if they're just starting, they might want to go talk to Minda and get that first check in the door. Or they might go, to Grub Stakes next, or, they're going to head to Sue after they have some traction. They're going to come to us probably last because that is where we're going to have the bigger check dollars, especially with the family offices that we've built out in our network. And we do believe that family offices are a pathway that we can use to really help get our companies those larger check sizes to avoid going down the VC route. We've seen companies not want to go the VC route the last few years running. And we believe that family offices
Uh-oh, you froze. Darn it.
Power loss from the wind, maybe?
Okay. Here, because we only got 15 minutes left, I'm going to jump to Minda. So, Minda, you've got kind of the gamut of experience now, having raised a fund and having also been a SAC manager. Maybe you might be the best equipped, although it seems like almost everyone is somewhat equipped, having experience with SAC, but to talk about SAC in particular and how it differs from all of these groups. And then I want to jump to a couple speed round questions for everyone.
Yeah. Let me be super quick because I think hopefully everyone's vaguely familiar, having decided to attend here today. What I see this as an opportunity to be the feeder system for new investors deciding if this is for them, because the entry level into a round is $5,500. It's the opportunity to be invested in an opportunity to try this out, and that's why I think we're sort of the first place that people come often. There's a real emphasis on education, and it's a facilitated 10-week process. And I think John does a really good job of collaborating with whoever is the fund manager to make sure that that experience is one where we all are learning how to ask good questions, share a point of view based on our observations and our perspectives, and then to be able to sort of listen to the room and develop our own way of thinking. And I just really think that that's valuable and plants the seed for the kind of values that end up perpetuating into these other places. And then it's also a great place for fund managers to sort of learn if that's something for them as well. So that's also been a nice propellant for more capital coming into the ecosystem in different ways.
Awesome. Thank you, Minda. So I'll do a toss up here. Anyone who feels like they have something to say, say it. So I thought I'd start with one that you probably everyone will have an opinion about. I know founders seem to. It's so I've noticed that founders will tell you that they prefer to pitch individual angels versus going through groups. At the same time, there's this kind of tension between what's efficient and what's sort of, all things being equal, preferable for founders. So how do you address that tension, with regards to sort of process and accessibility?
I'll start. When I heard that sort of dichotomy of like group versus individual, it didn't make sense to me because I really believe it's all about segmentation. And so why not just be segmented to 5, 10, 20 people who actually match your stage, your sector, your check size, all of those sort of elements that make you investable to that person. It doesn't matter how many people are in the room for that first pitch. Your opportunity is to build the right relationships, not just necessarily try and you know, there's not necessarily more value in just focusing in on a one-on-one relationship. So I see it as segmentation. So to me, it's kind of an interesting, you know, difference to be drawn. That I would focus on segmentation.
Yeah, I actually agree with Minda and would echo her comments. Like we at Grubstakes, we have a whole bunch of SMEs that know a lot of different parts of the market. And typically what happens is that, you know, when a founder reaches out to us, there's going to be one investor that really resonates with that idea and takes that first meeting and engages with them and provides feedback. And when it looks like this is something that others in the group are also going to be interested in, then that circle expands to 2 or 3 investors. And then when that also shows promise, then that expands to the network, right? Again, you know, all of this is done in confidence and with full control from the founder, because it is their information and you know, their startup. But that's how it works with us. And that seems to work very well with many founders that we work with.
So I just want to add, oh, go ahead, Eric.
No.
I was just going to add really quick that a lot of investors, high net worth individuals, don't really want to be known out there. And going through a group where there's 60 or 70 people there that have an opportunity to see your pitch that you'll never be able to get to, but for that way, it seems to me that that's a really high value for those entrepreneurs to be able to utilize that mechanism.
Yeah, I think that Minda mentioned the word segmentation, and I think there's another kind of segmentation that happens as well, which is that when you go to the individual, you're trying to find a champion, you're trying to find an in, and so as the investor, I'm always sort of wearing these 2 hats where I'm happy to talk to anyone at any time about their company, give them advice, but I will not take a private pitch. And that also makes it easier for me to say no if I'm not interested in the company, because I can just say, sorry, I only invest through the group. And there are, you know, reasons actually to do that beyond, I don't think much of this particular company, you know, even if I think very highly of them. It lets it, you know, obviously the segmentation of getting in front of the group is you're getting a much bigger potential overall check, but you're in the process. You're being tracked. The diligence can be shared. People can you know what stage things are at, and you're not wasting the group's time with all kinds of pairwise conversations. And I will say that there is a lot of value in establishing that relationship with a key investor, because I think that when a company comes to pitch a group that nobody knows, well, they might do well, they might not. It all depends on the company. But when a company comes and there's someone in the group who's like, I love these guys, I've already written my check, or I've already got this relationship, I invested in a prior round, whatever it is, that does a lot. You know, we are herd animals. You know, as much as we try to be all completely rational about our diligence, there's a lot of value to establishing that relationship.
That's a great point. I mean, I remember as a founder, the feeling that you have going into a meeting, whether it's a partner meeting in a firm or whether it's an angel group, the feeling that you have when you have a supporter in the room, it frees you to be a better founder, to talk about your story and not to be worried about you know, anxiety and perception and whether anyone cares. You know, so that's actually a really powerful statement. So I'll jump to one more. We got 5 minutes. I noticed there was a question in the chat, and Eric was kind enough to share an answer. So I'll leave it there for that. So I guess, you know, you are all highly accomplished investors, and everyone here could probably learn more than one thing from you. But if you just could give one piece of advice to a new angel or someone who's made a few investments, but, you know, isn't affiliated, or they just feel like they're firing blind, you know, what's a piece of advice you would leave us with? And maybe I'll start with Brianna, since you got cut off last time. We'll give you your first shot at this one. Oh, I completely jinxed her. Doggone it. Somebody screenshot the look on her face though and send it to her. Okay. Moving on. Sharad, you're front.
Yeah. So I think, the piece of advice I'd give is identify your goal and how much you're willing to stomach to achieve it. The number one reason I see angels drop out is because you get the failure signal first and you get the success signal last, right? If you're an angel, you're investing in a very early stage, it's going to take 10 or more years for a startup to exit. And so you're going to see all the failures first. So once you decide what your investment thesis is going to be and how much of your net worth you're willing to risk, you gotta tighten your financial fortitude and be in it for the long haul. And once you do that, do realize that there are many avenues in Seattle for pursuing your goal after SAC. And you will find many, many investors and founders who will trace their roots back to Seattle Angel Conference and John Seacrest, such as myself. So just remember, you're amongst friends in Seattle, and we're all here to help you and help the ecosystem.
And now I'm going to get around on the spot, especially
not putting myself on mute, because every time I take myself off of mute, my internet decides to switch to a different connection. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. So what's your big tip? What's the takeaway for you for angels?
Well, I mean, for first-time investors.
Yeah. For first-time investors, people are just starting out. Maybe they've made 1 or 2 investments. They don't affiliate with a group.
Well, so first of all, I don't think if they don't affiliate with a group, I think that's problematic. I think there's so much that you can learn from the experience of other investors. I mean, what happened with me, I was invited to the table at 26 years old, and I sat at a table with a bunch of old gray-haired men who I value a lot because I've learned a lot from them. But I sat there and I listened to these companies pitch, and I'd be like, what's your product, and how do you make money, and what do you do, and why are you standing here? And I would think to myself that I actually wasn't meant to be at the table. And then I'd listen to these people ask these questions like, what's your product, and how do you make money? And then I realized I wasn't off base. They just couldn't convey what their value proposition was. And so I always recommend anybody looking to get into investing in these early stages, sit and listen for a year, educate yourself as much as you can. Do not write a check. Force yourself to not write a check and listen and learn, because there's a lot of people out there, now myself included, who have lost money investing in these early stage companies. And we learn from our lessons, and then we do better, and we go out there and we support other people joining. This is why I love SAC. This is why I love the work that SAC does in helping to provide that education. We also provide that education to our members and make sure that continues as well. But that would be my big piece, is just to sit and listen.
So I think we're up against. We have 1 minute. I have something that I'm passionate about, actually, that I learned the very hard, expensive way that I want to share as an angel. And it's okay to write small checks, right? Try to write small checks, write as many small checks as you can, because it is a numbers game, and you just need exposure, and not for returns, although that's also a fact, but you need exposure to train your algorithm. And you could, if you can get it, if you're value add, you can get 10K checks into deals. And if you can do that 20 times versus, feeling like, I was insecure and I felt like I had to write big checks to deserve to be on cap tables. And boy, I would have learned a lot more, a lot faster if I hadn't felt that way. So, right, I might, it's contrary when I'm trying to bring people into, of course, if I'm asking you to invest in a deal with my fund, then I want the check to be big. But seriously, I think small checks. And I know we're up against time, but anyone else with something to jump in? I just had to get that.
I want to sort of tie together sort of what you and Sharad are both saying, Kirby, which is the idea of understanding how you can structure the allocation that you have and what your options are. So really looking at that as sort of a plan that you should make very early on to know what kind of opportunities and groups you really belong in. And then just, really maximizing that and, looking at the long road will give you the comfort to be able to know that you're in the right place and doing the right thing.
Yeah, and statistically, just keep in mind that 70% of typically fail, and that all of our studies show that you should have a minimum of 10 to 20 companies in your portfolio over time. So,
thank you, everybody,
Thank
so
you, Kirby.
much. You all rock.
Wow, that was tremendous. Thank you guys all. Thank you, Kirby and Brianna and Eric and Min and Sherrod and Susan. This was really awesome. I know, and I'll just make an observation. I sort two things going. Lots of really, really great advice, like things to think about as an angel investor, make yourself a better angel investor. But I also want to make the observation that this is a demonstration of where we are now compared to where we were a decade, 15 or 20 years ago. There was a time back in the day, John, I remember this clearly. John Cook, when he was back at the Seattle PI, he did a story and he talked about how there was this perception that every founder was saying there's not enough early sort of risk investors in Seattle, and the investors were all saying there's not enough great startups in Seattle, and they're not swinging for the fences. And of course, they were probably both right if you were to adjust for their profiles. Back then, there was no farm league, there was no SAC. Brianna wasn't there teaching folks how to do this. Really smart, good early stage investors were rare. Like a sore thumb back in 2005, right? And Susan, what you've done across the board and all the things that you've done have just been tremendous. Minda's starting a fund. Sherrod, you've been just coming from SAC and going to grub stakes and doing what you're doing. And Eric, like seriously, E8 for the kind of investments you guys have just a badass reputation for doing exactly what you said, which is, look, we're gonna do well by doing good. And I think all those things didn't exist back then. So as someone who's been around for a while, I'll just say, this is just inspiring to see where you guys are today. Like Seattle is just a different place, and it's hard not to everyone for contributing. This has been a pleasure. So you all now should turn your cameras off. I'm gonna probably eventually boot you out, but cameras off and mics off. Perfect. Okay. All right. So we're to that time now where we get to meet the teams. So one of the themes of what we're going to try to do here today is just to keep it's a simple thing, but we're just going to keep things moving. We're going to have 6 companies. They're each going to get 10 minutes. The diligence leads. Each team has each company has a diligence team. And a diligence lead is going to do 5 minutes of Q&A to follow up. You all get to see that happen. The order of the presentations has been posted in that agenda at the top right of the screen. Each of the teams, you should, if you haven't already figured out where you are in the list, you should go look at that in a second. I'm gonna shut my camera down. We're gonna go back to the floor literally for 5 minutes, just everybody a chance just to take a breath, and then I'm gonna start pulling teams up. I'm going to ask each team to raise their hand. If you're a presenter or a diligence lead and you don't yet know how to find the raise your hand button, find that button, because I'm going to ask you each to raise your hand, and then I'm going to pull you. You come to the top of the list, I'm going to pull you on stage. And then you'll notice across the top of the screen there will be a timer. For the presenters, we're going to set it to time 10 minutes. You'll see a bar. It's a green bar. It'll get down. I think when you have a minute or so left, it'll turn yellow. And when that gets to 0, you're done. I'm going to start talking over you. I'm going to mute your mic. If I had a hook, I would pull you off the stage. Everybody gets 10 minutes. We got to be fair to everybody. We want everybody to get through in a timely manner. And then immediately after that, I'll ask the diligence lead to turn their camera on. We'll do the 5 minutes of back and forth between the diligence lead and the presenter. So presenters, when you come on, you're going to turn your camera on, your microphone on. You'll be on stage and you're going to share your screen. You're going to share your deck, and then you're going to walk us through your presentation. When you're done, stop sharing your screen, and then I'll bring the diligence lead up. All right. I hope that all makes sense. And I usually say that I would apologize for the brutal timing, but we just have to be brutal about this. So the last thing I'm going to share with you all is, tremendous panel. Thank you much, Kirby. Thank you so much. If you see something you like, we have a hashtag. We'd love to let people, know what we're up to here. If you can hashtag in Facebook or Twitter or wherever you're at, NW Angel Conf, pound NW Angel Conf, that'd be great. Thank you very much, Alex. And so that's it. All right. So super short break, 3 to 5 minutes, mostly just to give everybody a chance to get their logistics figured out. And then I'm going to start calling the teams up. All right. And the first team will be Kachinga. So John, you should get ready, and Wes, you should be ready as well. All right. I'll see you in just a few minutes. Well, welcome back, everybody. All right. So we're going to get started now. So first I'm going to bring up John McIntyre from Kachinga. And Wes, just hang there in the rafters, I guess. I'll bring you up as soon as John's done. And right now I'm going to turn on the timer so you all can see that. It's a 10-minute timer, red across the top. And John, are you all set? Let's do a mic check.
I am the leadoff hitter. I am ready to go.
All right, your mic sounds great. So I'm gonna get off the stage, and then I'm gonna start the clock. All right.
Great.
All right, good.
All right. Hi, I'm John McIntyre, co-founder and CEO of Kachinga. All right, being a parent, boy, it's hard. And it's even harder when it comes to teaching our kids about money. Schools don't teach it, banks aren't geared to help us, and parents, well, we lack the knowledge, confidence, and frankly, the time to educate our kids about money. How many of you have struggled with what to do when your kids ask you to buy them something? If you're like me, I worry if I always say yes, I'm raising spoiled kids. And if I say no without a good reason, then I'm being disingenuous. So I ended up making random decisions about money, knowing that there must be a better way. That feeling really bothered me, and eventually put me on the journey to build a solution to help parents teach their kids about money. Just that, by giving parents the tools to raise money smart kids. Our platform applies financial literacy best practices and combines an allowance, chore, and savings management app with a secure debit card for kids managed by parents. So now when my daughters ask me to buy them something, we just check how much money they have available to spend right in the app, allowing them to. This helps kids learn the value of critical trade-off decisions and helps us parents stop worrying about our kids. Well, at least when it comes to money anyway. Our platform provides convenience and peace of mind for parents, making it super easy to transfer money to kids, provide transparency and controls for spending, and delivering personalized guidance and tools to help teach kids about. And then empowers kids by giving them the freedom to make their own money decisions in a safe and controlled environment. We believe our platform will lead the shift of $91 billion spent by kids each year from cash to digital banking. And we don't need an outsized share of the market to build a hugely successful company, as our revenue forecast requires less than 3% of the serviceable addressable market. Financial literacy experts agree that it is best to start kids about teaching them about money early. So we've designed our platform to support a much broader age range of kids compared to existing solutions. Our free virtual money version, which simply keeps track of what you owe your kids or what they owe you, captures families early and enables wider adoption, while our paid money version, real money version, supports experiential learning with a debit card for kids, giving parents the flexibility of when to enable their kids to spend independently. Kachinga was made available to the public in the Google and Apple stores in September. And today, we've already grown to more than 2,500 users, primarily through organic growth. That's an amazing 25% week-over-week growth. And we're generating both subscription and interchange revenue. And best of all, we're seeing true efficacy of the platform as kids are saving a whopping 50% of what they earn. I wish I could save that much. I'm a serial entrepreneur joined by an amazing team of technology and customer acquisition experts with a proven track record of building scalable applications in the consumer and finance markets. Our team members have worked together for over 15 years, demonstrating the skills needed to build and grow a successful SaaS company. And as parents, we're our own customer, giving us a unique insight and a true passion for solving this critical issue. We're supported by a terrific group of advisors led by Jim McGrath, who's the inventor of Leapfrog's LeapPad that many of you parents have likely used. Our advisors' financial literacy and services expertise have been invaluable in the development of our platform. A key element of our growth strategy is recognizing the desire of extended family members to support a child's financial growth and the virality that represents. One of the most dreaded situations I faced each year was when my parents would call to ask me what my daughters wanted for their birthdays or Christmas. I had no clue what to tell them, let alone what to fit their budget, so it caused both them and me stress. Kachinga solves this issue by enabling grandparents and aunts and uncles to view and contribute to a child's savings goals, which makes gift giving easy, provides an insight into child's interests, helping them be more connected, especially in our current social distancing environment, and of course, most importantly, helps kids build good money habits. In addition to our extended family model, our growth strategy includes paying kids $5 for every friend they refer, and we'll tap into the hundreds of parent blogs and influencers by providing relevant, actionable content about kids and money. Our team's digital advertising background and the related technology we built will help ensure we have the industry's lowest customer acquisition costs. And finally, we'll provide a white label option to a variety of finance-related companies and child advocacy groups. We've already closed deals or are in discussions in each of these categories. So a key part of our differentiation is our focus on financial literacy as the outcome versus simply providing a financial service. We've built tools designed to help parents teach their kids about money, including an industry-first calculator that helps kids learn how much they need to save each week to buy what they want. We make it easy for parents by providing them data-driven personalized insights and delivering proactive guidance on when and how to engage with their kids about money. Finally, we're developing a gamified quiz-based educational program for kids to demonstrate financial literacy. Now, the secret sauce powering our platform is a proprietary intelligence augmentation that gives us our personalized financial education guidance and insights. Specifically enables us to guide parents by asking questions such as, what chore or savings goals are appropriate for my child? Identify teaching moments such as alerting parents when their child's savings rate falls below average, then giving them guidance on how to improve that savings. Provide insights into trends and behaviors such as how a child's spending habits compare to others. And drive results by delivering the most impactful advice based on a child's spending and saving behavior. Our platform is the first in the industry to be built from the ground up to utilize intelligence augmentation to measurably improve the financial literacy of kids. And we've already begun leveraging this to deliver useful insights such as guidance on allowance amount or popular chores or where and how much kids are spending and saving. And we'll continue to expand our data-driven personalized guidance to help parents and ensure a sustainable competitive advantage. While a few startups have recently entered this exploding market, they're simply focused on enabling spending versus providing a money-managed education. They aren't designed to engage kids at the age when money habits are being formed, and they all lack the data-driven personalized insights and guidance needed to help parents. It's also important to understand that this is a rapidly emerging market where current competitors represent less than 5%, leaving a massive growth opportunity for Kachinga in a market that is not going to be winner take all. In fact, we believe a family financial management and education app will become a must-have for financial service providers. Robert Lee, who leads emerging fintech research for PitchBook, said that major financial service companies are seeking acquisitions to own more of the financial services value chain. Fintech is a hot market, and COVID has accelerated demand for cashless payment solutions like ours. This means the market will have far more deep-pocketed acquirers than attractive acquisition targets. And we are confident Kachinga will be one of, if not the most attractive companies, making this the right place, the right time to create significant enterprise value. Our team has laid out a clear roadmap to build a compelling service in a capital efficient manner and demonstrate our ability to rapidly and economically acquire customers which is how investors are going to value our business in our next fundraise. We built a detailed financial model based on years of operating experience that gives us confidence we'll achieve our goal. And we expect to reach cash flow positive prior to our next funding round in 12 to 18. Proving our ability to execute based on significant progress, even in the short time we've been working with SAC, including over 400% growth, cool new features, a key product partnership, digital advertising testing, investment from the investor of LeapPad, and we launched our WeFunder campaign today. The founding team has significant skin in the game, and we've created a clear execution plan. We're now looking for investors who share our passion of helping parents raise financially smart kids. Please join us. Thank you.
Terrific. John, good job. Finished a little early. We got a couple minutes to make up. You helped us with that. Thank you. And I'll say for the record, I'm just started as a user, and I love it. Okay, so Wes, good. Welcome
Thanks, Bob.
to the stage. I'm going to get out of the way. Wes, 5 minutes. I'm going to set the timer for you guys as well. 5 minutes, and you can start.
Okay, 1 second here. All right. So thank you very much for speaking today, John. We've enjoyed working with you. Wanted to get a few questions out here that are still remaining for us for questions and answers. So Kachinga appears to be in a crowded market with at least one well-funded competitor. How will you succeed?
Thanks. Mobile banking in general and banking services for kids specifically is an exploding market. So of course you're going to attract competitors. Actually, our largest competitor, Greenlight, just raised money on more than $1 billion valuation, despite having just 40 million in revenue. That's equating to an astounding 30x revenue multiple, which to us demonstrates significant value investors are placing in this market. And so we're excited to see this market value recognition because we believe we can achieve similar results. Greenlight currently represents only 3% of the US market, leaving a massive growth opportunity that we mentioned for Kachinga. And we don't see this as a winner take all, as there's ample room for multiple successful companies. So while we're confident that Kachinga can offer a differentiated solution with our unique focus on financial education and engaging kids at a much earlier age, and of course, being the first in the industry to deliver data-driven personalization guidance and insights, this is really an execution play. And we're confident our team has the experience as well to build a compelling service that can economically attract and retain customers in this rapidly growing market. So thanks for the question.
Sure thing. Also, startups can sometimes launch a bit too early or too late in a market. Why is now the right time for Kachinga?
Yeah, I've had experience with both the too early and too late in my background. So let me answer that from both a customer and an investor perspective. For customers, the rapid adoption of mobile banking combined with the mobile-centric world that makes this the absolute right time. And COVID has actually accelerated that with the desire for cashless payment, how important being fiscally sound is. The customer interviews actually that the due diligence team did support this narrative that parents need a solution like Kachinga now, and that we're making a difference. In fact, just this morning, we heard from one COVID-weary, overwhelmed mom who said, quote, where has this been all my life? As Kachinga has been so helpful with her. And like many of our other users, she's proactively telling her friends about Kachinga, which we love. So from the right time, because fintech continues to be a very hot market and actually become even hotter during COVID with the increased online and touchless payments. So financial service companies will be looking to retain and expand their base by acquiring value chain services like this. And we believe family, financial management, and education solutions like Kachinga is going to be in super high demand. And as mentioned, this market has many potential acquirers with deep pockets. And these traditionally prefer to buy versus build, making this the perfect time for early investors to achieve significant investment returns.
Thank you. Just one more question here. So success of startups at this stage, depend largely on the founder's ability to raise funds to complete your current round and for future rounds, as well as executing on plan. What's your fundraising strategy?
Thanks. Our team has significant experience raising capital at every stage of the startup lifecycle. Collectively, I think we've raised over 300 million for multiple SaaS startups. And with each company, we get just a little bit smarter about how to be more capital efficient and how to best meet our funding needs. So given that we just launched Kachinga and the fact that we have a consumer solution that is easy for people to understand, we decided to actually launch a crowdfunding campaign on WeFunder to allow us to turn our customers into investors and our investors into customers. And we actually have the Seattle Angel Conference to thank for that introduction to WeFunder. It's been invaluable to us. So regardless of whether we're fortunate enough to win today, we welcome anyone to invest by going to wefunder.com/Kachinga. And of course, we'd love for you to use Kachinga for your own kids. So we're looking forward to the opportunity to answer any questions beyond our Q&A here. So please join us at the Kachinga table to learn more for the rest of our team. So thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. That was great. Good luck,
Thank
John,
you, Bob.
and thank you, Wes. All right.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Wes.
All right. So next up is Apnomed. So Ryan Yusefian and Lucas Svek. Lucas is our diligence lead. So you guys will come to the stage now. If you guys could raise your hands, very good. Okay, I see. I have some help.
Hey, Bob.
There is a fairy in the background helping me bring people on stage, which is great. Thank you, John. I think that's you. So sit tight, Lucas. We'll bring you up at the end. So Ryan, you're going to share your screen. If you want to actually do that now before I start the timer, just make sure everything's working. Just give me a quick mic check. Say hi.
Hello, hello. Can you hear
All
me
right.
good?
All right, everything's good.
All right, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. Let me reset the timer, give you 10 minutes.
Perfect.
And when you're ready, so Lucas, actually, if you could turn your camera off, we're going to give Ryan the entire stage, or turn your microphone off. I'm sorry. Very good. All right. I'm going to get out of your way. Good luck, Ryan.
Thanks, Bob. Hello, my name is Ryan Yusefian. I'm a co-founder at Apnomed, and I'm excited today to share with you about our company and how we are positioning ourselves to become the Invisalign of sleep apnea treatment. For the last decade, clinicians and patients have been waiting for a better solution, which will allow them to resolve sleep apnea symptoms without any of the known side effects, such as permanent tooth movement, bite change, and jaw pain. Dental providers are missing out on a tremendous revenue opportunity. There are currently over 140 sleep appliances on the market today, but dental providers are scared to use them because of the known side effects I mentioned. So let's look at the example below. If a dental provider can do on an average 3 sleep patient starts per week with a modest treatment fee of $4,500, which is on the very low end, these practices could make additional income of $675,000 or more. So this is a tremendous missed revenue opportunity for dental providers. And on the other end, we have patients. Patients are faced with ineffective, expensive, and invasive options. So when it comes to the current market solutions, patients have limited and unsatisfactory options to choose from. So we have CPAPs. These have a 50% compliance rate, which means statistically when a patient takes one home, they're probably going to shove it in the closet and not use it. They're bulky, they're loud, they're not portable, and they require costly maintenance fees such as new hoses, masks, and cleaning them. We also have surgical procedures. These are expensive, starting at around $50,000 on the lower end, not to mention painful and a very long downtime of around 6 to 8 weeks recovery. And then we have other sleep appliances. And as I mentioned, it's not a matter of if, but when these side effects occur, which I mentioned earlier. Now, this is where Apnomed comes in. We help people breathe better while ditching the side effects. We also provide clinicians with a better platform to treat their patients. So as a whole, ApnoMed invents and develops technologies. We educate and train clinicians, and we're assembling a network of ApnoMed providers to serve their patients with an ultimate vision to become the Invisalign of sleep apnea treatment. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time today talking about the science of sleep apnea, but in short, this does occur when there is a full blockage of the airway while a person is asleep, blocking off the oxygen to the brain and to the body. This obviously has some serious short and long-term side effects. Some of the more major ones are type 2 diabetes, congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, and stroke. Now, it is estimated that currently 1 billion people are suffering from sleep apnea globally. Now, this next number is significant. 80% of people with sleep apnea are actually clinically undiagnosed. So that means there's a potential of 800 million people walking around that have no clue what sleep apnea is or if they have it. So this is a significantly underserved and unmet market. And this next number is my favorite. I like to brag about it. 90% of our patients have been fully resolved of all of their sleep apnea symptoms. So our solution to this is our flagship product called the ApnoDent. It is the only sleep appliance on the market today that will not permanently destroy your smile. As I mentioned before, those side effects you can see below. These are the top 2 highest selling products on the market today, and it's not a matter of if, but when patients come in experiencing symptoms like this. So you can get a closer look of the device. It is one of the best solutions on the market today for managing snoring, TMJ, and sleep apnea symptoms. It has no bite change and tooth movement, which is our value prop for it. It is custom made for optimal fitment and comfort, and it also does integrate with Invisalign or clear aligner trays, which is a significant selling point for dental providers, which means that when a patient is going through orthodontic treatment, they can still utilize the appliance while they're straightening the patient's teeth and take care of their compromised airway. Our competitive advantage. So again, our FDA 510K clearance as a medical device allows us to advertise as anti-sleep apnea and anti-snore. Everything beyond this point really differentiates us from the herd. Again, our strongest selling point on our flagship product is the no bite change or tooth movement. It is TMJ and bite friendly for patients who clench and brux. It fits over clear aligners. It's one of the most low profile devices, and it does also work with dentures. So edentulous patients can't take advantage of this product. A little bit about the competitive ecosystem and why ApnoMed has been positioned in these 3 sub-industries. So on the top, we have sleep device companies. SomnoMed and O2Vent are killing it right now in the device game. They do around 100,000 units a year, around $100 million roughly. They do nothing more and nothing less than just selling devices. On the bottom left, we have education. Rondeau and Spear are leading right now with orthodontic and dental education. However, their flaw is that they do not focus solely on sleep apnea education in the practice. And on the bottom, we have CPAPs. Now, in 2017, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine released a white paper stating that oral devices are now an adequate first line of therapy against obstructive sleep apnea. So now what that means is that patients no longer have to fail on a CPAP and they can go immediately on an oral appliance. The other thing is with COVID, we're seeing a significant amount of CPAP users go to oral devices. Why? Because we now know that CPAPs carry a high risk of respiratory disorders because they require cleaning and a lot of maintenance. So for that reason, we're seeing a lot of those patients switch to these platforms. The market size, this is a tremendously booming industry, and we've just scratched the surface of it. It's actually expected to be the oral sleep device sector to be the fastest growing in the entire medical device space. It's expected to reach around $9 billion in 2025 with a of around 11%. What's our go-to-market strategy? So this is really a twofold strategy. On one end, we're preparing to enter the market by going after the 100,000 national dentists that are already doing some sort of clear aligners in their practice. The reason that we're going after this segment is because they already have a proper understanding of what is sleep apnea. And they're most likely already doing some sort of management device in their practice. So for this group of clinicians, it's a matter of saying, hey, listen, here's a better platform to use on your patients. You can continue to make tremendous money in your practice, but you don't have to worry about your patient coming back in 6 months, asking for their money back, complaining about all of these side effects they've experienced, ultimately requiring the least customer acquisition cost. And on the other end, we have the consumer modeling. So this is exactly what Invisalign did, which allowed them to be a $3 billion corporation. They had a difficult time going after the clinicians when they first came out. And they realized, hey, why don't we go after the consumers and educate them? And with doing that, they drove the demand to the dental office with the patients. So the clinicians had no choice but to start using Invisalign. And now they are, leading the path with clear aligners. And that is exactly what we intend to do with ApnoMed. Recent traction, 2020 was a significant year for us. We placed first at the University of Washington Health Innovation Challenge. We were also awarded the best idea for a medical device. We also placed first at the 2020 Dempsey Startup Competition. We won the People's Choice Award at the Life Science Washington Fast Pitch. I am currently in the 2020 Jones Foster Accelerator, where I'm paired with some expert mentors who have been guiding me through the most crucial steps of our startup. We now have 14 ApnoMed providers, so we onboarded another 4 since we've last met. And the most important one is really the media attention. Based off of what I've been doing, the competitions, we have had over 450 patients in Korea saying, hey, I'm on a CPAP, I can't tolerate it, where can I get an ApnoMed device? So it has been great traction for us. Our team has over 100+ years of combined industry experience, both on the clinical end and on the provider end. So I truly am confident that with this team, it'll empower us to execute on this business model. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a small glimpse into the future of ApnoMed and share with you our most recent patent, which incorporates an electrical stimulus that we're going to use to advance the patient's tongue to the ideal position, which will enhance the treatment success. Up to now, these technologies are available, but only in a surgical implant. And at ApnoMed, we plan to deliver this technology with a non-surgical removable device at a fraction of the price. We are developing some of the most advanced sleep appliances that will be on the forefront of the medical device industry. The time is now. Please join us for this incredible journey so we can save millions of lives. These are real people. They're living incredible transformations and they're living better lives. A vote for ApnoMed is a vote for a brighter future of sleep apnea treatment. Thank you so much for your attention.
All right. Great job, Ryan. All right.
Let me stop share. There we go.
Okay, great. And now, Lucas, if you want to come on up, turn your microphone and your video on. Terrific. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to set the clock to 5 minutes. And Ryan, sorry about that misfire on the clock. I'm not sure if you were watching the clock, but I set your clock for 5 minutes and I added another 5 minutes too. So you got 10 minutes, but in case you saw the clock getting low there, I apologize for that.
I was in the zone. I didn't even notice.
All right, good. All right, guys, when you're ready.
So Ryan, it was great being a due diligence lead for you. I think we had a great team. We were joined by Tiffany, Nick, Bob, and Ivan. We have a few questions for you that we've observed throughout due diligence, and then some that remain.
Sure.
So overall, could you describe the thought leadership that you have and the investments that you've made? Because you're currently an early stage company, but you have a lot more background than just that.
Yeah, so the beauty of where ApnoMed is at today lies in the fact that this was born out of my father's practice. He's an orthodontist. He's been in private practice for over 20 years. And my personal experience with obstructive sleep apnea, so at a very young age, I was directly impacted by it. And they actually told me that I was not an ideal candidate for higher education. And my dad, being the stubborn guy that he is, said that that is impossible. And long story short, I had a sleep test done and I tested for a very severe sleep apnea. And that really led down his journey of discovering sleep apnea and the effect it has on pediatrics and adults. So over the last 15 years, the beauty of our product and how we've de-risked it is that this is a product of trial and error over hundreds and thousands of patients. We know that what works and, more importantly, what does not work. So it's a result of him getting patients that have side effects from other devices and reverse engineering a better platform that will kind of bypass a lot of those common side effects with the same effective results.
And actually, that's something that we found, that people were coming to us and saying, "Oh, I have sleep apnea. Is this in the market? Can we get access to Ryan?" We have 169 people in the audience today.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to get approached with the same questions. So,
yes.
So you're a hardware product, and that carries different risks than a software product, an app.
Sure.
How have you de-risked that aspect of having hardware that you're delivering to patients?
Yeah, so, the beauty of what we've built is that, we've bootstrapped it up to now. Around $800,000 has been put into this company to get it to where it is. We've passed the FDA clearances. We have extensive patents on the product. And, typically you see companies that are so early stage like us, they built the team, they have the idea, now they need the money to prototype and build the product. We're on the other spectrum. We've de-risked the product. It works. We have now 14 providers that are part of our pilot. We have over 450 patients treated. It works. You can go check the testimonials out on the website. So now it's a matter of, we can't actually scale anymore without building our team out. So the product and the hardware end, it works. It's de-risked. Now it's a matter of, let's go out there, build the team, and really start saving some lives. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, you touched on one patent, but what's your patent protection portfolio and direction that you're going with?
Yeah, so we have right now, as of last week, that patent I shared is a new one that got awarded. So we have 6 utility patents that are through. We have another 5 that are pending and another provisional, and we do have trademarks in place. So, the unique investment opportunity for ApnoMed is that the 140 plus devices on the market today, they're all, they're not patented, right? There's very few of them. A lot of them are a generic mechanism that they utilize to reposition the lower jaw. And it's not a novel method. With ApnoMed, we have protected all of our proprietary mechanisms, which allow us to bypass the side effects. And even with the future appliances we're building down the pipeline, which means that, it's not going to be a lot of copycats on the market that they change a color, tweak something, and smack their brand on it. So we've really taken into account protecting what we've built.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You alluded a bit to Invisalign as a market comparable. Yeah. That means having the love of patients, awareness, but also dental offices. That seems to be a key component of your marketing strategy. What do you see as honing your cost of acquisition, lifetime value through these particular channels?
Yeah, so a big one for us is, and I got 20 seconds, is the lack of awareness, right? People don't understand if they have it, they don't know. So we're really going to hit it hard with social media advertising, go after the 25 to 35, even 45-year-olds who it's thought that it's only for elderly people. And we're really going to educate them, provide them with the right tools to screen themselves and kind of funnel them into our providers so they can receive proper treatment and also educate the dental providers.
All right.
I know that was a short answer for a long question, but I hope
it's really well done. Great presentation, Ryan. Lucas, thanks so much. Lucas. That was a great conversation to sit in on. I want to remind everybody too that we're at the end of this. We're going to have all the investors are going to run off into a different video conferencing session, and they're going to vote on who they're going to invest in. Meanwhile, everyone else who's not part of the investor group is going to vote for a audience favorite. We have some fun for the winners of the audience favorite. So as you're watching these pitches, remember that you're going to be asked to make your virtual investment, to add one of these companies to your portfolio. that you think is the best company to get the best return from your investment. All right. So next up, we're going to have Advocat with Pradnya Desh, and we have Milan Rizika as the diligence lead. So if you both can raise your hand, good. So Milan, I see you waiting in the wings. Pradnya, you should now be prepped for stage. And if you turn your camera and your mic on, I'll welcome you to the stage. Hi, Pradnya.
Hi, Bob. It's nice to see you.
Likewise, welcome.
Thank you.
So go ahead and you'll share your screen. Milan, if you could turn your microphone off, then we'll give Pradnya the full set here. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Let me set the timer. And whenever you're ready.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, I'm Pradnya Desh. I'm an attorney, previously a law firm partner, and previously a U.S. diplomat. I'm the CEO of Advocat Technologies. And this is a team of attorneys at PayPal. Sadly, a true story. They failed to do some legal research that they really should have done. Instead, they accidentally allowed PayPal to fund an illicit arms dealer. Oh, and here's Ben, an attorney on the team. When the Department of Treasury figured out what they did, they described it this way. PayPal failed to employ adequate screening technology to identify the potential involvement in U.S. sanctions targets. PayPal was fined $7.6 million. And Ben, can you imagine how a bad performance review feels in the pit of your stomach? Now imagine making a mistake with real-world consequences and having that written about you in the Wall Street Journal. Ouch. I'm an attorney who's managed legal departments, and I've lived through these kinds of pain points. Fortune 500 companies know that they have a problem. They spend $315 billion on the legal function, around 2.3% of their revenue. Legal services are really expensive, but the volume for in-house attorneys is intense, and the legal processes are still mostly manual. It's a huge corporate risk. Here's what it looks like in many legal departments right now. On the left, we see our internal business user. He calls or emails the attorney with his legal need, and then waits days or even months to get a completed document or advice back. He sends reminder emails, but tentatively, because even though he feels impatient and frustrated because he has a real business need, he doesn't want to make the attorney angry. On the right side, we see the attorney. He talks or reads emails from the business user regarding the request. Here we have Ben. He decides if he's the right attorney for the request. And if not, he routes it to another attorney who starts at step one. If he is the right attorney, he keeps it. Next, Ben searches for the correct company template. And if that's unavailable, searches for an outside template. Then he does legal research to tailor the template to the request and the legal need. Next, he edits the template according to the research and finally reviews the document. This takes 69.6 hours per month. So what does Advocat do? We automate the slow and time-consuming legal process using our enterprise SaaS solution. It unlocks the power of AI to generate legal documents and recommendations from attorney conversations. So here's how it looks with Advocat. Our business user talks or types to Advocat regarding the need, and then receives back the document or legal recommendations after the attorney has reviewed it. So that's similar to before, but without the anger, frustration, and business interrupting pace. But we see the real changes on the right side with our in-house attorney. So the in-house attorney gets an AI-chosen template that's routed directly to him. It's already filled out with the business user's information, edited with legal research with those changes highlighted. There are clickable legal references, and attached is the text of the conversation that the business user had with our system. The attorney then reviews and approves this document. That only takes 14 hours per month. That's 55.5 hours per attorney per month, time savings for a very expensive and overloaded resource. We're innovating in natural language understanding and natural language generation, and especially we're innovating in the business process workflow for legal departments. We have several patent filings underway, and this is our mode. It's the intellectual property. Our deep customer research has led to applying technology to a manual, antiquated process. So even though our tech is impressive and the market is large, I think the team is the most important of all, because it's important to know that when things are good, the team knows how to capitalize on it. And when things are bad, the team has long experience with making it happen no matter what. I'm proud to introduce our team because I really trust these guys and their track record. I'm Pradnya Desh, the CEO. Chetan, our CTO, wrote 25% of Bonsai's AI platform before it was acquired by Microsoft. Haresh, our Chief Strategy Officer, is a serial entrepreneur with successful exits who guides our sales and marketing. Sid, our Chief Scientist, wrote key algorithms for Mayo Clinic, Microsoft, and Conversica. He also teaches natural language processing at Berkeley. Now I'm going to show you how Advocat works. Our business user is having a much better experience. Here's a screenshot of a conversation that someone had with our system yesterday. And here's how it looks on the attorney side. You can see the conversation on the upper left, the entities that were understood in the conversation that I showed you on the page before on the lower left, and the document on the right with embedded Microsoft Word for the attorney to review and edit. Our total addressable market is $64 billion, the amount that the Fortune 500 spends on legal research and drafting, which is the part that we do. Our customers are in-house legal departments. We charge $750 per attorney per month, which is less than they're spending right now on legal research only. A typical Fortune 30 legal department has between 1,000 and 4,000 attorneys. To see how that plays out for 1,000 attorneys, a legal department spends $9 million on Advocat to save $266.4 million. Or, to put it another way, we've just 5x'd Ben. He looks happy. And this is our go-to-market strategy. Our $750 per attorney per month is less, as I said, than what Westlaw and LexisNexis charge for legal research alone. We focus on in-house legal departments of the Fortune 500 with an initial focus on the Fortune 30 because the potential contract value per company is $9 million to $36 million each per company. But our approach in signing up pilot customers has been team by team. 5 to 10 attorney teams have been willing to sign up and they have the team level budget authority to buy. After a team has success with our product, we then plan to recommend it to the general counsel so that that general counsel can recommend it to the entire legal department. Advocat is completely different than the competitors in the space because we discovered a critical bottleneck in legal workflow from our interviews and repeat visits with more than 148 attorneys. I'm an attorney myself, but it was really important to do this detailed customer research. And because that's where we learned how long in-house counsels spend on legal research and drafting. It's also where we learned about how the business user to attorney conversation that neither likes or needs. This is a critical use of natural language processing in our system. There is no other company that automates the time-consuming business user intake process and then uses natural language processing to find the correct template already updated with legal research. By using a company's own templates, it makes the in-house attorney much more confident in the quality of the results. And also it reduces Advocat's liability because an in-house attorney also reviews those in-house templates. Advocat notifies attorneys of changes to the law after any document has been generated by our system. And that would have made all the difference to Ben and the PayPal attorneys in the story that I told you in the beginning. The competitive landscape. The legal market in the United States runs so inefficiently and is ripe for disruption. Other companies have seen this and addressed different pain points in the space. There are contract analysis companies such as Kira and iCertis that draw out deep insights for companies' existing legal documents. There are legal research companies such as LexisNexis and Westlaw that have been around for decades that are searchable databases for attorneys to do their own legal research. And there are document automation companies like LegalZoom that allow consumers to access simple legal documents to fill in fields. Advocat is different because it has contract analysis, legal research, and document automation, but critically, it automates the workflow that in-house attorneys face, and that position is protected by patents pending. So where are we now? We have signed up several major pilot customers, and the general counsel at one of them told me, I have been searching for something like this for 15 years. Here are our financial projections. I'm confident in these numbers because it doesn't take that many companies to get there. If you look at the chart on the left, we only need 3 companies in 2021 to get to $1.5 million. And we already have 3 companies signed up as pilots in January with 3 more in the pipeline with eager executive champions shepherding us through their process at their companies. You recall from our go-to-market slide that we enter a company and then go laterally from team to team. We'll be at $91 million in 2025 by working with only 30 companies. For those 30 companies, we do need a sales team to help close those deals, but we already have a big head start because many of those companies were my legal clients when I was a law firm attorney. Our plan is the Fortune 30, but among the Fortune 50, we have many to choose from to get to the 30. This is also where we are today. We're winners or finalists for a lot of different things. In the next few weeks, we plan to hire 3 attorneys and build out sales and marketing. Up until this point, we've bootstrapped our company and are very capital efficient because we've been able to build out our technology and sign up major pilot customers with that. We are moving fast to fundamentally and forever improve the way that legal departments work. Join us on our journey. We are Advocat.
Nicely done, Pranya. Great job.
Thank you. Bob, you're on mute if you're speaking.
Sorry about that. Yes. So welcome, Milan. If you have a slide you want to share, you can share your screen as well. I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get out of your way. All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you. So, Pranya, thank you so much for the presentation, and you ended spot on, which was kind of a good characteristics of the whole cooperation. We, as a team, really enjoyed working with you and the whole team. As you have seen in previous company, we'll tackle it in 2 parts. First, I'm going to ask. First, we're going to look at what we've learned, and then I ask some questions. What we really liked about Advocat is that you work in an interesting market. Your market is large enough and provides a lot of upside. And you have a team, which is, we believe, help you going to get there. People are experts, but most importantly, we really like the dynamic. We really like how you work, and we like the progress you have shown us in last month. So it's very obvious that you work really hard and you are getting traction. It seems that from the market perspective, it's a good time to enter. So we like that the market is still fragmented, and your value proposition is so disruptive that it gives you a chance to kind of redraw the lines of the market. That's really good. And last but not least, even though you are not in the market yet, we have seen a good traction. You have good research, you have prospect endorsement letters, and we have seen good demos, and you have shown parts of that today. Now, that's all great, but there are still some remaining questions which we would like you to kind of reaffirm for the audience. So still, you are not in the market right now, and you plan to go to over $1 million in the first year. So could you take a little bit more about what's your path to it in terms of the technical and the go-to-market?
Sure. So our path to $1 million is pretty comfortable, actually, Milan, because we only need 3 companies as clients and 160 subscribers to get there. We do already have 3 companies as pilot customers for January and 3 more large ones in the pipeline. So attorneys love using our product. It sounded like the second part of your question, that was the go-to-market part, and the second part of your question is technical. So we have all of the pieces working already. I know that you've seen the demo, and actually I encourage everybody to stop by our table if we get table time to see the pieces, because I'm really proud of what we've built. And so to get to January, we just are connecting the pieces. So the market and the technical to get to $1 million are already there, and I feel very comfortable with it.
Okay, thank you. And then once you are in the market, how do you intend to evolve and protect your competitive advantage? You mentioned the patents. So how confident you feel around your patents, how many you have, what's in the pipeline?
Yeah, so we have a provisional patent and 5 patents pending regarding, patents in the process rather, for the different parts of our technology. But so you had asked me how to protect our competitive advantage, and patents are absolutely the way to do that, to methodically and relentlessly expand our market share by using the very detailed sales plan that I shared with you, and I explained a bit within our presentation. But I have to say, so you asked me how to protect our competitive advantage, but I really want to tell you how we're going to grow our competitive advantage. And we've built our technology on deeply understanding our customer. And as we expand and we closely watch and understand even more about our customer to build and automate workflow and legal processes. So as we win in this market, we're going to be uncovering even more pain points. And that's how we grow our competitive advantage.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. And the last question, as you just said, you will grow your advantage even further. So how do you see the long-term future for your company? And maybe you can talk about your exit strategy.
Yeah. So within 5 years, we plan to be at $91 million. And that's with 30 clients, as that we had explained in the presentation. And at that point, we'll be ready for an IPO. Advocat's mission at scale is to fundamentally disrupt the slow, expensive, manual legal market. But on the road to IPO, we expect that there are going to be many acquisition offers. And the reason that we think that is legal tech and enterprise process companies have already been reaching out to us just to start conversations, not acquisition offers yet, but to start conversations. And we plan to consider those offers very carefully and then discuss them with our investors before having a shareholder vote.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I think we can give the audience a little bit of time back.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Pradnya, great job. Milan, thanks you so much. That was an interesting conversation. All right.
Thank you.
Now we're going to take a short break, give everybody a chance to take a bio break. So we're going to take about 10 minutes. So be back here at 5:25. We're running behind a little bit, but we still need to take these breaks. So we'll see you guys back at 5:25. All right. Cheers. All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get started with our next team, the fourth team. So this will be Ag Tools. And is our founder. So Martha, let's see if you'll raise your hand. Good. I'm going to bring you up on stage. And just turn your camera and your microphone on.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Welcome, Martha.
Share the screen.
Good. And Acacia, Laurie, you're on deck for Diligence Lead. So we'll bring you up as well. There you are. So go ahead, Acacia, and turn your camera and your microphone off. And good. All right.
Oops. Am I sharing the PowerPoint?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, good.
Yep.
And I'm going to get out of your way. The timer is set for 10 minutes. Good luck.
Thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Martha Montoya, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ag Tools, real-time market data for the ag and supply chain. I want to tell you a teeny bit about me because it's important within the whole conversation. I have been around 27 years developing crops and programs across the world for multinationals from seed to consumer. Anywhere from berries from Mexico to United States, or asparagus from Peru to Europe, or even orange juice concentrate from Brazil to Australia. So I have been enough in the industry to understand the supply chain. And I can tell you that there's the problem or the challenge. And the challenge is that the agriculture and food supply chain is very fragmented. Think about it. You go to the supermarket and check out anything from the coconut to the lettuce to the cilantro to the oranges. They are from all over the world. So definitely we have a large geographical area for the food that we are consuming. And this is the farmer's reality. The farmer's reality for centuries have not had any data. Even today, they have no data. And they actually go to the bank and get loans and get the whole thing going, even to harvest, without any data, just hoping that they're going to have a good season. But guess what? They're not the only ones who have the problem. The whole supply chain, the buyers at the supermarkets, the processing plants, they have no data either. And the limited data they have it in spreadsheets. And that's causing 69,000 truckloads that we waste from farm to distribution centers. So this is a very uncertain and very complex and very misaligned food supply chain, and C19 proved it. But we need all these actors in the supply chain. We need the buyers, the fertilizer sellers. We need the distributors. Everybody's needed in this food supply chain, and all have the common denominator, which is very thin margins across the whole supply chain. They say behind a good man, there's great women. Well, behind a great woman, we have great men. I have two wonderful brothers who are my CTO and my CDS, both one computer science engineer with a lot of meteorology thinking, and also one of the first engineers at Amazon. And then my second brother, Oscar, who is the computer data scientist who does all the machine learnings and AIs. He's very talented, and he makes sure that all our team behind works with Gustavo. But we're not ourselves on our own. We have wonderful team members, whether they are the team members, they're the advisory board, or even the investors that have come on board to help us build this company. So we decided to build something that will help the industry. And we got out there to build what we call the Bloomberg, or we're called the Bloomberg of the industry, or the routers of the industry. So here you're going to see the tool in action. You're going to see how the tool has many data sets. We have over 350 million points of data clean and audited. We have over 29 years of historical data of all the commodities, 500 commodities. We have over 50 years of weather patterns, which helps all our customers. And all this data that you see right now moving can be simplified in different forms. But what's common among all of it, there's 76 variables across this whole system that are moving parts for decision making. And so we created different easy to read and engage elements, whether it's the app, whether it's the reports, whether it's the screens, feed, or even our latest customer taking their own data against our own data and in real time seeing what's going on. But we did, even though I knew the industry and many of us knew the industry, decided that we had to go and write the business plan at Stanford, just because we had a program that we were accepted to. Then we went to UC Davis and actually researched farmers, trucking companies, processing plants. And then we went to UC Davis to make sure that we went and talked with the Department of Sociology to understand, is this something that we can go in and people would adjust and change their behavior? That was before COVID-19, which moved us even faster into the system. So how do we do it? We take data from all different government entities and many areas. Give you one simple example. Wenatchee News has a little article about a hail of cherries, which nobody else picks up. That's data that goes into our system that is sent into our alert system for our farmers to know, that our shippers and farmers to know. So it's government data and news data that then we put in our system called Apex. Over there we have over the 500 commodities and all the different varieties that behave in different parts of the world, and we put the phrenological phases. We make sure, and I make sure, that we put all our IT, agronomists, economists, scientists, all in the same room to discuss this. Because what has happened in the past is that we have had Wall Street talking one way, agronomists talking the other way, and that's why you don't have this type of systems, because the farming industry has been not an easy one for many of the segments of the industry. So we make it easy. We take the data, we find it, we ingest it, we clean it, we organize it, we process it, we audit it, and then we deliver it in a very simple form. Now we have a technology roadmap that little by little we have been adapting as we move with the different customers that we're bringing, whether it's a conglomerate that needs data sets on the system, or whether it's a company that needs simple an app. We started with specialty crops, which is the fastest growing segment in the whole world. It's $1.8 trillion. It's the fruits, the vegetables, the nuts, the herbs, the plants, and yes, the hemp. But we have built it in a way that it can be utilized for seafood, cattle, dairy, poultry, bakery, pork, or the row crops. And so give you an example with a Cargill. We're going to be working on the pork side of it. So Actus provides a farmer the data. How does it work? I see what's going on. I see the market is falling down in certain region. I call the buyer, or the farmer calls the buyer, and then ask them to reroute the truck. That farmer makes money. And backwards, the buyer of the store looks at the data, sees that there's a holiday, he might not get the shipment, there's weather patterns on different regions, and then ask to reroute or change the harvesting times or the cropping size, and then still have food in the shelves. We have customers in the United States, Mexico, which are winter, summer counterparts, and we definitely have customers out of other countries, especially the Americas. And how do they do it today? What is our competition? We survey our customers. Word of mouth. Literally, there's no system. The only thing, and it's not because they could have existed, is that our industry moves so fast-paced, they have no time to understand what's going on. Therefore, they just don't deliver things, or the technology world has not delivered to our industry. And so just calling each other, calling the USDA, figuring out if somebody has any data. And so we have customers. We're able to provide our customers, selling to our customer 105. We have a good retention of our customers. We have grown our ARR mainly because we're bringing large customers. 2020, we got approved to the top worldwide incubators. Of 600 people, we got out of 10 on both of them simultaneously, which is very unusual. And that has given us access to the customer base that we're starting to have, even the Cargills of the world or the Microsofts. We have our certification as a woman-owned, which is now being used by many of the corporations and happen to be technology too. We're in Microsoft on the program for enterprise, and we just launched that. Today we got approved, last night we got approved by Ingram Micro through this whole process. We got approved in the Deloitte program for overseas, which it would be 2021. And then more important, we're working with the organization in Portland, IdeaShip, which is owned by Panasonic. And we have a set of engineers and attorneys helping us develop all the patents for our company. 23 industries is what we can do and we can go after, but we have been focusing on the two more important: farmers, shippers, brokers, and the buyers. But we have great customers, let's say the Boston Consulting Group, which is a consulting financing company, or we have a food service company, or we have a bank. We don't go after them specifically, but we are able to sell them if they call on us. And do we have an exit strategy? Yes, but it's looking more like a partnership, and this has been discussed in the industry, where companies are starting to look into not just getting out, but creating partnerships with different companies and build the company to go to an IPO. I don't want to promise today that's what we're going to do, because it's an industry, AgTech, it's an industry that started 5 years ago. We're in development. So we are not sure whether it's straight out for a sale or going into the IPOs, and we hope to be one of the IPOs. So we're relevant to the industry. We're definitely a highly scalable model. We do rinse and repeat in everything we do. We're very flexible with architecture, having Gustavo and Oscar as the yin and the yang of the famous people who start a company. We have great channel partners which are helping us, and the patent and highly experienced team.
Great.
That's it.
Sorry to have to interrupt you.
That's good.
But that was a great presentation. Thank you so much. You got just about to the end.
Thank you.
Now we're going to invite Acacia to turn on your camera, and great. All right, good. So Acacia, if you have a slide you'd like to share, that'd be fine. I'm going to set the clock to 5 minutes, and then I will get out of your way.
I'm ready to go. Yes, hi everyone. It's been great working with the team, looking at ag tools, and some of the questions we explored during the due diligence process was basically working out the size of the market, and we came to the conclusion through market sizing analysis that this is a really large opportunity. Food wastage is $3 trillion as a TAM in North America alone. We did some competitive analysis. We couldn't find any head-to-head competition in this space at the moment. We did meetings and independent research and reference calls with various advisors and other investors and discovered that the team is seasoned with industry experience. They have complementary skills. They're passionate, coachable, and self-aware. We've done client interviews and do note they do have significant traction with the product in market for nearly 12 months, and they are forecasting revenues for $1.8 million for the coming financial year in July. Ag Tools continues to win awards. I think it's the most award-winning company I've dealt with. They've been in Techstars, Microsoft, Women in Cloud, and beyond. So some of the remaining questions I'd love to ask Martha is, can you just explain again to the broader audience how you've had so much traction and customers willing to pay in this industry, just embracing your solution, even though the product really is, in your grand vision, still in its infancy?
Part of it has to do with the fact that we have the team members that understand the industry, has worked the industry, versus a person who created an idea and technology and they have to go through the iterations of trial and error. My reputation in the industry is good, is well done, and so I just have to pick up the phone and pass on my team members, and then they just receive them. I just did that 2 days ago, and immediately we get the meeting in. What we needed was specifically people that will be underneath me to open. As I open the doors, they will go close the sales.
And so, thank you for that. When we look at your kind of product roadmap, we do see that you're currently really in a data aggregation phase of the dashboard. What are the kind of plans and how will you move towards more predictive analytics in the future?
Technically speaking, we have been working on predictive analytics and we have been working for a year on it, but on the back end, we have never published it because we were concerned that we would have, the minute we publish, we had to go for patents. And we wanted to wait until we had that perfect scenario like we have now with almost 12 engineers from Panasonic and attorneys going over this whole process, building the catalog. So we built that on the side, and we have it, in fact, on the strawberries, which is the most volatile of all the commodities. And we have already the model, and we have 95, 94, 95 accuracy of 6 months and week by week. So we have done it. What we're making sure is that the data is very clean, really, because that's the biggest issue. People really don't understand how crucial not having the data scraped, clean, and audited is crucial, because it's the livelihood of farmers. We can't just go and estimate for the sake of estimate. These are livelihoods we take care of.
And when we kind of look into the future and think about how you will kind of protect the moat around the company that you're building, do you see that principally coming from the technology in the product, the team's industry expertise, or the sales channels that you're following?
I would say one of our mentors is Mr. Richard Cargill, the grandson of Mr. Cargill, and he was mentioning, has mentioned always, these days is who's first to market. That's number one. You have to get first to market. They themselves are not doing even patents themselves, which is shocking. I was shocked to hear that. It's public, but he told me that. And so it is first to market. And the fact that we're grabbing these large accounts, we have one of them publicly, we can say today, I was given the authorization, Dole, the largest pineapple, the largest fruit vegetable company in the world. Grabbing those type of customers immediately sets the stage for us to be able to stay inside the system and let others wonder what to do.
Oh, great. Thank you for that.
All right, great. Thank you, Keisha. Great interview. Martha, terrific presentation. Thank you so much. So you guys can both turn your cameras and microphones off now. And next we'll bring up Zelos. So Chris. Yes, good. All right, I'm going to bring Chris Williams up. So Chris, I just turned you on. So when you get up here, go ahead and turn on your good. Very good. Can we do a little mic check?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. All right. And Levi or Levy, I apologize. I didn't quite get my chat going yet. But in any case, I'll say, Levi, you are on deck for Diligence Lead. And I'm going to set the timer, Chris, for 10 minutes.
Great.
And I'm going to get out of your way. Okay, great. Is it Levi or Levy?
Levi, you got it right the first time.
Levi.
Thanks.
Okay, good. Awesome. So Levi, go ahead and shut your camera and your microphone off, and we'll give Chris the stage. And Chris, whenever you're ready.
Thanks so much, Bob. It's great to be here with you all today. My name is Chris Williams. I'm the founder and CEO of Zelos AI. So before we begin, I want to tell you a little bit about my own background. I come from a track and field family. My mother, my father, my sister, both cousins, and several aunts and uncles have competed in the sport. I grew up going to my sister's track and field meets, following not just her, but her competitors and her teammates, spending hours. One day at a meet, my dad told me that out of all of the different events going on, I had to choose something to stick with. Personally, I preferred Science Olympiad, and I was not very athletic at the time. But something about the pole vault captured my imagination. And even though I had no business thinking I could pole vault, my father said, okay. A couple weeks later, we drove to Home Depot to buy a wooden dowel to use and went to the local college to practice several days a week. Every day, I would track my progress, my drills, the height of the bungee I cleared that day. I would journal my mood, my goals, how many push-ups I did. I studied the greats. I would print out photos of them and put them up around my bedroom to inspire me at night when I went to sleep and when I woke up every morning. And after 10 years, after over 10,000 hours, I can look back and see all the sport has given me. Not only did it give me a scholarship to a world-class university, or kept me healthy, or allowed me to travel to places that I would never have seen otherwise, but it spoke to me in a language that I understood, in a way that no classroom could. It instilled hope and direction. It taught lessons that translate to so much more than sport. Discipline, experimentation, focus, analytical thinking, self-care, but perhaps the most important, humility. Because at the end of the day, the stopwatch and the tape measure don't lie. Sport transforms lives, and setting your goals and benchmarking progress is essential. And it's not just me who thinks this way. We've done our research. We talk to athletes daily about how they use our platform compared to others today and what the killer features they'd be willing to pay the most for. And we hear a great deal. Getting an accurate read on what it will take to qualify for your conference championship, or taking control of your own health and preventing overuse injuries by tracking your mileage alongside your fitness, or finding the best meets just for the hammer throw to compete at so you have a better shot at making it to your next competition. Even meet previews with probabilities and news leading up to the event. Now, most of these things are impossible today. Sport is fragmented. Results are scattered across the web, and it's organized chaos. There's hundreds of meets in a week, and you have to locate where the results are published, if they are, scan text-heavy pages, and rely on your gut or your memory to glean any additional insights. Now, for this presentation, I asked a coach, Coach Ed, to send us photos of materials he uses to manage his team. Ed said to me, "Oh man, you should have asked this 2 weeks earlier. I had just thrown away 100 pounds of paper results." So when an athlete asks him how they've done at a previous meet, he points them to that stack in his office. Without access to data, it's hard to make actionable decisions on goals and training and fully grasp the context of sports. And that's where we come in. Zelos is the one place athletes, coaches, and fans can access again and again for any type of information they need to take their performance to the next level and follow the most exciting news. Users can see the story from different points of view. How close is everyone to their personal best, a school record, and how likely are they to make it to the next meet? Filter down from thousands of performances in seconds to see only the data you care about and browse at lightning speeds. Filter out ranking lists to create league standings, school records, and weekly leaderboards. With my lists, you can follow your favorite athletes, meets, venues, and teams for the latest results, records, and more. Dive deeper into athletes' career progressions and performance histories in much greater detail. And while you're at it, take notes on the performances and maybe send it to a college recruiter. These are valuable features for the community, and the market is huge. People from all walks of life, all over the world, use this sport to better themselves, and they spend money on it. Accessories, activity trackers, performance clothing, supplements, club memberships. Zelos is another weapon in their arsenal, starting at only $99 for programs and $11.99 for athletes. So where have we been? 18 months ago, we closed a round of financing at $250K to build out a beta for sports programs. But with the cancellation of the season due to COVID, there became no means to plan for, and our tool became a lot less relevant in the short run. It was a tough April for us. We cut our spend by 60%. We closed a round of financing despite hesitant investor sentiment, and we launched a consumer portal with over 4 million athletes analyzed and indexed for our data platform. COVID became, it brought our team together, accelerated product development, and our launch made national news. We created a buzz in the community, and it initiated dozens of conversations we're still having. We also learned that there's a lot to improve upon. From the simulation of the Tokyo Games and our product launch, we have identified great accounts to work with to maximize our reach on their platforms to fill our funnel from the top. To convert users that sign up, we're just finishing up on a great landing experience that aligns with our users' expectations and intuitions. We've done a lot of great research on what types of content are the most compelling for the users to click in and find our product, and we're really excited about where we're going. It's authentic, meaningful content that ties directly to our product's value propositions at a low cost. For context, our designer Kat put these together in a couple of hours with actual athletes we're talking to. And over the next several months, we'll be running a series of athlete profiles, what they eat, what they wear, where they're from, as well as publishing our own data-driven forecasts and results, as well as insights. Former Olympians can revisit their career story through our tool and think about how to improve and inspire the next generation. So where are we going? First, we want to dominate the track and field niche by aggregating disparate performance results with superior search and a differentiated brand. We then want to train our indexing engine on sports and gaming domains to feed unstructured data directly into our SaaS platform. You can think about it as IMDb for sports. Then we open our engine to the internet, collecting and reconciling performance data on various people, places, and things. So how do we get there? Well, first we're going to raise a bridge round to release our premium consumer offering at $11.99 a month, which would allow us to be cash flow positive with only 1,500 paid users. The runway would allow us to entertain conversations for media partnerships leading up to the Olympic Games, which is a huge opportunity for many. In the long term, we plan to raise a seed round in Q3 of 2021, which would allow us another 18 months to scale our product, our team, and hit a $1 million revenue target to raise our Series A. At the moment, we have a lot of exciting leads who have expressed interest in both our software as a service platform, as well as the analytics we're doing on the back end. Now, across our design, engineering, and marketing teams, we've spent decades in the sport building world-class data-driven products. We love what we're building, and we're excited to work together every day. Next up on our hiring plan is to bring on a CTO that would reduce our time to market with our current product roadmap. Our advisory board is highly involved as well and contains executives and early employees at places like Nike, Microsoft, Apple, and Palantir, who have worked one-on-one with people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Phil Knight, and Jeff Bezos. With $200K, that would give us 12 months of runway to focus on R&D hiring, customer success, and content marketing. And post-COVID, we are running capital efficient at 15K burn rate. We can continue to do that until raising an institutional seed round in 2021. With the runway and momentum SAC affords us, I know we can recruit a first-rate CTO and marketing lead. There's no doubt that COVID has been quite a headwind for the sports world. It's sidelined millions of athletes, but their passion has not been. There will be a day when sports opens back up in full swing and tens of millions of athletes are taken to the streets, and we will be there to help them keep tabs on their progress and tell a much greater story. Join our team and help us make this headwind a tailwind. Thanks so much, and I'll now entertain any questions.
Great, thanks, Chris. That was terrific. So now, Levi, if you want to turn your microphone and camera on, we'll bring you up.
There we go. Sorry, my mic was being stubborn. And then share my screen, yeah? For the slide.
All right, great. So good. I'm going to get out of the way. Levi, could I just get a mic check? Just make sure your audio's...
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
All right.
Perfect.
Carry on.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Chris. I guess to kick things off, I'll say it's really been an absolute pleasure working with you and working with your team. It's been very cool to see what Zelos is focusing on. I think some things that I definitely, and I think the team will agree with me to call out here, we were super impressed by the team that you pulled together. I think they're really clearly so passionate about this project that they're working on. I think the drive that a lot of the folks have on the team really to create something that becomes a new industry standard and redefines the space that they're operating in was very self-evident and really quite inspiring. I think your vision of the market is also super interesting. Zelos has a lot of opportunity here for growth and to kind of redefine a space. And we've discussed in my own sport how I could see the relevant.
For sure.
I think there's some exciting opportunities for growth there. And lastly, the product itself. You know, as you've laid out in your presentation and through your own personal story, there's a lot of room for impact here. You're looking to do something that really there just isn't a good solution for right now. So I think there's some really exciting opportunities from the product point of view as well, and what you guys are working on. So just to, let's see, we got about 4 minutes. So I'll see how many of these questions I can get through. But some follow-ups for you that I thought might be interesting to talk about for the audience. You talked a lot about with us with your goals coming up starting in Q4 of Zelos's plans in terms of marketing expansion, content marketing, and influencers being a fairly significant component of that. So I was wondering if maybe you want to take a moment to describe a little bit more how you're planning on going about building those strong
Most
relationships with influencers.
You know, we try to get out there in the community as much as possible, talking to influencers and thought leaders, and also just users that would be using our tool as the average user. But especially with the high-profile athletes, Olympians, people that are well-known on a local and global level. We think that we have a few pipelines that we think will really drive our growth and be, you know, where there's value on both sides of the equation. With our brand ambassador program, for every 10 signups that a brand ambassador brings to our site for paid users, we would give $250 back to them. And that's something that we've, with almost everyone we talk to, they're willing to sign up for that and would definitely allow us to hit the most passionate individuals that are actively following these influencers. Also with our content, I didn't go too deeply into it in the presentation, but leveraging our simulation tool that we did with the Zelos Games is extremely extensible, and we can do a lot of different types of interesting simulations for meets that have never been done in a physical world. Things like top tier high altitude schools versus low altitude schools, East Coast versus West Coast, USA versus Europe. And those are very engaging ways that we hope to double down on after our success with the Zelos Games.
Cool, thank you. Let's one for later if we have time, but oh no, wait, I'm sorry, I reorganized correctly. Never mind. So obviously you're pulling and aggregating from a lot of different data sources to be able to provide these insights. Can you maybe describe a little bit about how you're envisioning the growth there, building out maybe redundancy, ingesting new data sources, and kind of how you're thinking of expansion in terms of the intake?
Definitely. So as I mentioned, we have about 4 million athletes that are already indexed for search. There are many more track and field athletes. It's one of the largest sports. It's the largest sport in It's the largest participatory sport in American high schools. And I think that there's so many avenues for growth, especially in other domains, highly quantitative domains like weightlifting, as you know very well, Levi, things like swimming. And bringing this highly quantitative data, we can leverage AI to interpret publicly available results. And then also there's a big component that it can be community driven. So people can upload their own results if they really want their recruiter to see, the results that might not be commonly available. Several different types of users and several different data sources are still pointing to the same sources of truth. So it allows us to build a comprehensive and accurate data set.
Thanks, Chris. So you had touched on the team growth with the CTO in your presentation. And since we've only got 15 seconds left, I'll skip that question. I'll just say thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure working with you.
I would love to talk more. If anybody has questions, please feel free to reach out at chris@zelos.ai.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Levi. Appreciate it.
Terrific. Great job, both of you guys. Chris, I loved your go to the hardware store and get a dowel. When I was a kid, a friend of mine was a pole vaulter in high school, and we had a patch of bamboo, big, heavy bamboo down the street. And we used to go down and cut bamboo, and we pole vault with bamboo. So I had to laugh a little when I heard your story. Yeah. All right, good. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Advice Analytics. So Chris, if you can go ahead and shut your, oh, perfect. A little delay in the technology there. So we're going to bring up Jerry Yan and Faisal Alawi. And great. Welcome, Jerry. So up. Let's see. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Loud and clear.
All right. Perfect.
All right.
Last one.
Yes, definitely. All right, good. So do you have a deck to share? You want to share your screen now? Just make sure the tech is working here before I jump out.
Yeah, let's do that. Uh-oh, what am I seeing here? Okay, how's that?
That looks good. Okay, good. So
Okay.
I'm going to set the timer to 10 minutes, and I will get out of your way. Good luck.
All right, great. Thank you, Bob.
You bet.
I'm Jerry Yen, CEO of Advice Analytics. At $7 trillion, the 401k industry is larger than the GDP of most countries, but today faces a major crisis. Employers are failing 70% of their audits, their penalties quadrupling while they spend $12 billion on compliance services that clearly don't work, forcing providers to lower their fees down to tiny profit margins. This costs workers $300 billion in annual asset growth potential, especially for workers who need it most. Here's how it happens. An employer gets a retrospective compliance report that looks back at 2019. The problem is they get this 2019 report in May 2020, which means you discover failure of your 401k plan 6 months too late, which prompts the IRS, of course, to ask for 2-year-old documents by that point. And they don't care if that HR manager has already left the company. Instead, the IRS is focused on penalties that start at $1 million. So while you're arguing with the IRS and searching for documents, it's now deep into 2021 and you haven't done a thing as an employer to address the root cause, which means you're probably screwed for 2020, never able to catch up. One CFO told me he had to just call it a necessary annual expense because it's been this way for 20 years. But we can fix this. We can fix this by addressing 3 key issues, by offering predictive testing, not retrospective backwards audits, centralized documents, not scattered all over different laptops. Importantly, fixing the root cause. See, the industry likes to focus on higher net worth individuals because they get paid on assets. But at its core, 401k regulations focus on protecting lower paid workers making less than 125k. And yes, the IRS has set that exact limit. So when you increase retirement assets for lower paid workers, those making less than 125, you automatically strengthen compliance. That's the math from all of the regulatory compliance. Advice Analytics offers a turnkey solution for compliance by fixing these 3 major issues. We've built unique proprietary algorithms that measure and track key select compliance drivers, a smart workflow with automatic alerts specific to 401k regulations, and unique analytics to drive higher retirement readiness, helping those employees that need the most help, and by law are required anyways for compliance. Our algorithms, smart workflow, and lower paid targeting
generates a unique data set specific to the employer and their employees over time, which we use to continuously improve our product and our recommendations. But the IRS has also thoughtfully required employers to store unique data sets for at least 7 years, which helps to increase switching costs and lower client churn. Our competitors include legacy software providers developed and stuck in the 1990s. ASC is the largest independent software provider of compliance. FT William was acquired by Wolters Kluwer about 10 years ago. Both reflect the complacency of the industry. Retrospective reports, a UI, as you can see on the far right, from 2005. The testimonial here that says that this, what you see here, is the most modern system in the market today. This is on their website. They are ripe for disruption. Speed matters, so we're executing on a channel distribution model through 401k record keepers like Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, with a total of 160 record keepers in the entire United States. It's actually no shock that I am personally linked by first or second degree with every single record keeper in the entire 401k market in the United States. I know exactly where my prospects are. But for efficiency, we intend to focus on the fastest to market, those most desperate to grow profit. In only 3 quarters, we've launched our product ahead of schedule and under budget, signed a contract to access 11 million workers, built a pipeline of 56 record keepers so far, and are now in contract talks with 4, generating $50K in year-to-date revenues so far. We've also conducted a few experiments where we discovered a willingness to pay $15 per employee for our product. This comes from a 1,000-person employee firm. We brought this data to Charles Schwab, which has advanced us deeply into reseller contract negotiations. We've aligned to a price point of $9 per employee with a guaranteed $40,000 annual upfront for a total potential annual contract value of $9 million. Now, I want to be candid about this. Contract's not done yet, and it's a reseller agreement, so no guarantees beyond the $40,000 annual. But having said that, Schwab estimates $1 million ARR for advice analytics in our first year, 2021. And they're motivated to close this in 2020 before their 2021 budgets take place. The minute we sign this contract, we expect our valuation to triple. And this contract alone would achieve our 2021 revenue milestone out of the gate. Just as importantly, this has helped us reframe compliance from a cost center, as it is today, to a profit center, where we can triple Schwab's profit from compliance. And now we've used the same narrative to drive more prospects down the funnel, generating a pipeline of more than $30 million in ARR, as shown here. Through a disciplined funnel that drives deal wins, something I've done very successfully in this industry in the past, although to be honest, never this fast. And you can certainly imagine there's a lot more that can go down this funnel. By 2025, we'll achieve $82 million on an 8% deal win rate, highly realistic since my typical close rate is above 10%. And multiples in this fintech industry always run high, where innovation is bought, not built, where Plaid and Personal Capital exited on similar revenues at multiples up to 35x. Now, while we're forecasting what I believe is a highly realistic $82 million SOM, our real mission is to generate that $300 billion of asset growth for everyday lower paid workers for a more secure retirement future. With advice analytics, compliance is no longer a burden, but the engine of flywheel growth for the entire retirement industry. When we help everyday workers, compliance improves, costs go down, contributions increase, and everyone becomes properly incentivized. More profits, lower costs, and greater financial security for all employees. The founders are respected experts in 401k analytics and security. I've written military-grade rocket launch code and an investment white paper for a prestigious 401k association. I'm the subject matter expert in retirement that's also written algorithms and established selling relationships in the retirement industry. Yashar has the SaaS experience to take my algorithms and focus on the actual user benefit, manifesting it into a product user experience that I know firsthand practically sells itself. Chad has spent nearly 2 decades managing operations and detailed work, protecting businesses from cybersecurity risks. But most importantly, we've known and respected each other for many years. This is a team built on trust and deep alignment on our core values. Together, we raised 150K, then delivered on key milestones. We've now raised an additional 300K to focus on building and selling toward revenue milestones that will yield 10x ROI. Our investors are also our advisors, founders, and professional money with multiple successful SaaS exits. Winning SAC would be highly meaningful for our mission and our runway as we pose and strive for that 300 billion for those 100 million Americans. Meanwhile, we're laser focused to spend only on high ROI activities, build and sell, and then strictly manage all other costs. And one more thing, we have not yet contemplated the 40 million global workers subject to US 401k regulations, nor the broader benefits compliance market like ACA or HIPAA. But our prospects continue to mention the documentation compliance they need across all employee benefits. In summary, Advice Analytics provides a turnkey compliance solution with a strong, diverse team, a roadmap centered on client lock-in and increasing momentum. The founders have built and sold consumer apps and hardware for the masses. But this is an extraordinary opportunity where a very narrow universe of only 160 clients can impact 100 million American workers in a highly capital efficient way, while never losing sight of our grander mission to help hardworking, everyday American workers achieve a more secure retirement future. I invite you to join our journey and our mission as we proceed down this path to affect 100 million lives. Thank you.
All right. Good job, Jerry. All right. Faisal, welcome to the stage. So can we just do a quick mic check? Make sure our
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Now I'm actually going to set the clock. I apologize.
Okay.
You were very tight, Jerry. I wasn't worried, but mea culpa, I did miss the start button on.
I didn't see the clock, but I believe I was still within the 10 minutes.
I'm pretty sure you were.
At least according to my my time here.
Yeah,
So.
you were executing. Okay, good. I'm gonna get out of the way now.
All right, thank you.
First, Jerry, I want to thank you for the time you and the team spent on the due diligence process. I know the team asked for a lot of meetings and a lot of questions, and thanks for taking the time to answering them.
Absolutely.
I'm here speaking on behalf of myself, Greg, Tabu, Narendra, Brandon, and Danielo, who were part of the DD process. And again, we want to thank you for all your help. So during the process, I think we had a few questions that we wanted to cover. So one question, which is, given that this is like this was a tough problem, like from the first time we heard you, I think we wanted to understand what's the problem, and I think you did an awesome job going over that today.
Thank you.
I think another thing that we wanted to answer is why now? Like, why is this the best time to start AA? And I think there is multiple reasons. I think you covered part of it, which is the fines are getting much larger than before. It's starting at $1 million. And I think another reason is COVID. And I think, as you explained to us in the past meetings, this year is expected to be the year of record fines and penalties because of employers cutting some benefits that might affect their compliance. I think another thing that we looked at is how is AA different than all the other competitors on the market? And then the last question is the team. And I think you solved short on as a team. I think you are an awesome team overall. I think you have the right skills in terms of sales, product, marketing, and cybersecurity. So I think the remaining questions for us as an investors for the future that we are interested in were mainly three. So one thing is the sales cycle. So I think when you presented this idea to us, you told us like the sales cycle for this industry is usually around 18 months, but I'm working to get it shorter to 9 months. And I think from your conversation, you mentioned that you guys are able now to do it even in a better. Tell us how and tell us more about that.
Sure. I'm actually going to go back to the slide here, and thank you for that question, Faisal, and thank you for the compliments. Really much appreciated. So look, at the end of the day, it comes down to the narrative, and I've been very diligent as part of the SAC process. So I'm a child of the SAC process. I was in the pitch deconstructions and the different conversations during the summer. And I learned a lot about the experiments. I think John talks a lot about the experiments. And so conducting these experiments here with the client of my client, right, was really valuable to ensure that there was pull demand on my client as I pushed my product into my client. And that was number one, identifying the real price point, not that I imagined, but what a real client would actually imagine. That was one. And then secondly, what my value proposition therefore was to my client, to the record keeper, Schwab, I'm 3x their profit opportunity. And then third, scale it, right? Go from the one experiment you have and try it now with others. And this is what we've done. In a very short amount of time, I've been able to amass a $30 million ARR pipeline, and the conversations are progressing far faster than I've ever experienced in this industry. And I've experienced a lot in this industry, which is where we're looking at here. I actually co-wrote several different investment white papers, so I'm actually fairly known in the industry. What's powerful about this is that I know folks at each one of these places. I can call them on my cell phone and have a quick conversation with them. I've held back because I wanted to get to a scalable narrative. We have that now. We have a demand from their client. We have profitability for them, and we have ultimately the success of retirement readiness for the employee as well. Okay. So it's a feel good around all of it.
Okay, so we have 20 seconds. So the question I'm going to ask is about technology and competition. I think you have always talked about how the thing that keeps you up at night is executing fast to make sure you're always ahead. 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yes. Look, these guys, I am absolutely focused on the competition. There's not a night that goes by I don't think about the competition. I'm a firm believer in being paranoid, right? We are so far ahead of these guys, but that doesn't mean they couldn't start to wake up and chase after us. So our goal has been to continue to advance the roadmap and drive lock-in. Go out, acquire, keep your clients, lock them in, and then create that moat where your competitors can't catch you.
Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tried to give a few seconds there because I screwed up the clock on the first one, but really well done.
Thank you, Bob.
Faisal, thank you so much. Honestly, the diligence teams, the companies, Jerry and all the others, it's just really been a super strong showing. Good luck to you all. And now we're to that very special point in the event where we're going to send off all the investors. Jerry, if you can go ahead and shut your camera off.
Oh, okay, sure.
And your microphone, then we'll be good to go.
Thank
cool.
you.
All right, thank you. All right. So at this point, if you are a member of the SAC-19 LLC, you're an investor in this group, then you're going to go click on the link to the alternative Zoom channel that John sent you an email, and you're going to go do your diligence and have your deliberations about who's going to win. It's a hard decision. It's truly just 6 great companies, 6 great founders. I've been in this chair for 18 of these, and there have been just amazing companies that have come through SAC over all these years. But I got to tell you, as a group of 6, I haven't seen a better group of 6 companies or founders come through in one SAC. So this is really a tremendous showing. So what we're going to do now, the rest of us, if you're not a SAC investor, we've got about 20 minutes now. It could take them 10 minutes. They could come back to me in 10 minutes and we know who it is. But we're going to take at least 20 minutes for everybody to network some. Be sure to visit the team tables and to be thinking about how for the audience favorite. And I want you to think about it in terms of you're making an investment. In real life, we use dollar bill, fake dollars or poker chips or some element to represent that you're actually making an investment. You're making a monetary investment in these companies. I want you to think like that. Ask them some hard questions at their tables. Get to know them a little bit. If you can visit a few, that's great. But you're gonna have to make that decision. You'll have about 20 minutes. I'm gonna put the link right now in chat for the voting form. So you'll use this to, let me just type it in here, vote for audience favorite. Now, there's no money for the winner of the audience favorite, but we have some great prizes for all of the finalists, and a couple special prizes for the audience winner. So at this point, I'm going to get out of your way. Remember, there are multiple floors. The teams are all on the first floor. Be sure to visit some teams. The second floor is where the angel groups are hanging out. If you want to go meet some angels, some angel groups. Third floor, networking, you just continue to network up there. You can also do that down here on the first floor. And so just be ready. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes notice. Once I hear back from John that the selection has been made, then we'll bring everybody back together and we'll have the award ceremony. All right. So it's 6:20, so 6:40, we will meet back. We'll meet back here. And we are running a little bit late. Apologize for that. There's really no making it up from here. Deliberation takes what deliberation takes. So in any case, see you soon.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so very much for being at the Seattle Angel Conference number 18. We have come to a decision as a part of the investors, and I'm going to hand this over to Bob. Go for it, Bob.
Great. Thank you, John. So I've had a chance to go around and speak with everyone, and including some investors and some teams. And as much as any other SAC, I'm going to be a broken record. 6 great teams, 6 great products, 6 great markets, 6 great founders. Just really a tremendous showing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start. Right now, if you haven't posted your vote for the best company, let me see here. I'm just going to pull it up here. All right. Okay, I'm going to have to ask for an assist here from John. Hey, John, if you can hear me, I'm unable to access the voting results. I'm not sure if my access changed. Sorry for the technical difficulty here, folks. Hopefully it won't be long.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Do I not have...
You should have access. Let me double share it. Oh, that's interesting.
Are you having trouble as well?
No, I'm in there. I can see the answer. I just want to give you a picture of it. All right. In any case, why don't you keep talking and I'll put the chart. There's 93 votes so far.
Great. Okay, good. So we've got some prizes. Obviously, we don't have a big fat check for any of the audience winners, but oh yes, please, Eric, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we do have a big fat check, but I don't know who the audience picked, so I can probably modify that for the audience. But
Wait, you have a big fat check for the audience?
No, I have a big fat check for the.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Maybe in future years we'll stash some cash away for an audience choice award. But for now, a bunch of great things. I'll share with you some of the prizes that the teams are receiving. Some of these prizes go to all 6 finalists. Some of them only go to the winner of SAC, and some only go to the audience pick. So first off, Z Counting, which all the teams would have already received this, but you're getting a free session, a free service to set up your QuickBooks and your Gusto. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Our very good friend, John Steinberg from Hand of God Wines, will be shipping 3 bottles of wine, and it's good wine, to all 6 of the teams. So watch for an email from John with some details on that. And what John Steinberg has offered to do as well is to arrange for a virtual wine tasting for you all, so that you can learn more about the wines and the winery and so forth. John is a fixture in the venture capital market all along the West Coast. He's a really terrific guy, good guy to meet. New Flowers, Phoebe from New Flowers is providing a gift certificate to the teams, and Innovare AI is offering 2 months of their service for free, which is for automating customer development and product market fit validation process stuff. So that'll be useful, I'm sure, for many of the teams. Cherry Picked, which is a local food delivery startup with a really interesting twist. They work with chefs and deliver amazing food. I'm a customer. I know the founder very well, Amela, and it's just a terrific service. If you use it, I promise you will never have had any food delivery service like this. It's really incredible. And for the first place winner, she's going to deliver an authentic Argentinian brunch meal for, it's usually like 4 people, and these will. So again, you'll get a note to get the logistics done on that. And then for second and third place for the next 2 places in the Audience Choice Awards, an authentic Argentinian pasties and tea service delivered. So that I guarantee you will enjoy those. And then finally, from Startup Haven, for myself to all of you, for all 6 teams, we're going to do a private 1-hour groundwork workshop, which I hope that you will all find. I know a couple of teams I've already worked with, and I think you'll find it very valuable. I'm happy to do it. And then for the winner of SAC, we're going to give a free member advantage membership to Startup Haven, which is about a $300 thing. And I encourage all the finalists and any other SAC founders or investors to check out Startup Haven and for the opportunity to meet and build relationships with many other venture scale founders and investors. All right. So John, should I look in the chat to see?
Yes, in your chat, you have the data.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Don't believe that time extension.
Okay, I won't. All right. So I am, let's see, that's first, second, and third then, John?
That's the order, yes.
All right, first, second, and third. So third place in the Audience Choice Awards is Advice Analytics. Second place is AppNomed. And in first place is Ag Tools. So you all, congratulations, honestly, all 6 of you. And it was very close. It was within a couple percentage points between all of you. All of the teams were just tremendous. So you'll all get a follow-up email with instructions on how to claim your prizes. And now it's time to turn it over to Eric to announce our big winner.
All right, drum roll, please. And I'll go ahead and try to share my screen properly here. Let's see. My screen's messing with me. There we go. Hope everybody can see that. Our first place winner from the investment community is Advice Analytics. So congratulations, Jerry. You've won the Seattle Angel Conference 18. And
So
so,
Jerry, raise your hand and we'll put you on stage. So it can be more than just that. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
Smokes. Holy smokes. Wow. Wow. Thank you. I can't, I mean, wow. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I think I really want to say, and I'm not gaining anything more from this, right? But I have to say a tremendous amount of thanks to John and really everyone at SAC, but John, who's been kicking me in the head up, and I really can't say enough about the pitch deconstruction event during the summer and everything that happened throughout the SAC process. It's been extraordinary. It really has. You know, Julie helped us, mentored us when we were semifinalists, and the entire due diligence team, Faisal and everyone on that team, just fantastic. I mean, really, everyone. It wasn't just due diligence. Let's find out more. It was a challenging process, and I really thought that was very rich for all of us. Now, when I say all of us, I mean for the entire team. We had the entire team there. So, anyhow, I think the process that SAC went through was amazing. So I can't say enough. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so very much for being here, and congratulations. And just so that we put it out there, not all of the angels are done with all of the companies, and so we'll see what that evolves into. But thank you so very much, Jerry. If you turn off your mic and camera,
and
we're running out of
out
time.
to all 6. I mean, to all 5 others. Fantastic job by everyone. Really, I was very impressed.
Cool. Thanks so much. So I want to congratulate Eric on a job well done. It took a lot to get this going. Thank you. That was good. And I want to appreciate Kate for all of the work she did to get a very wide and diverse audience, because we would not have had the diversity in our investors nor in our companies if it hadn't been for the work that she's doing. And she's going to continue that for SAC 19. And so, Kate, are there any words you want to say about SAC 19 before we run out of time in a couple of minutes?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be quick. But if there are any founders out there who are interested in being in the seat that these 6 finalists are in the spring, we would absolutely love to have you join us. We'll be kicking off some workshops starting in early January 2021. So be sure to look for the Seattle Angel Conference on Meetup to join those workshops. And we'll be opening registration shortly for any startups that are interested in joining. So if you are with a startup or you know of a great startup that could benefit from our program, absolutely send them my way. My contact information is in my profile here in Remo, so feel free to reach out.
Cool. So thank you guys so much. If tools at Remo work the way they say they work, then this will disappear in 4 minutes. If they work as how the button said on the screen, it'll disappear in 34 minutes. But regardless, hang out and talk to everybody while we're here. Say hi to everyone, collect whatever data you can from people's profiles and connect with them. And we're very happy to have you here this time, and hope to see you in our whole program next time as we go. Spread the word that everybody can be benefiting from doing some kind of angel investing, and we would love to help them do that. So thanks so much, and mingle.
thanks, everybody.